This is an Alternerd reality podcast.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Alternerd Reality Podcast, a podcast that covers all things nerdy, all things gaming, basically all things awesome. I am one of your hosts, Chewburger84, and joining me, as always, is a relic from the days of Thunder, the electrifying Hebrew Hammer. How are you, buddy?
That made me sound awesome. I'm not sure. Was it from something, or was that just from your mind that you pulled out?
This fucking guy, I swear to God. Days of Thunder? Really?
I have no idea what Days of Thunder is.
See, I need to immediately throw to our guest of the week now because he will actually get this reference because he is a man of class, of style, of honor. Turk and JD would say that he's crazy, but they're definitely wrong. Joining us is Dahooch. How are you, man?
What's up? Doing all right, man. I can't believe that. You know what? I'm not surprised he didn't get the Days of Thunder reference.
Yeah.
What is it?
Days of Thunder, if I'm wrong. Yeah. Tell me if I'm wrong. Isn't that the movie that he met Nicole Kidman?
I believe so. I believe it was Days of Thunder.
Oh, this is another Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Dude,
Of course it is. It's your intro.
Come on,
Of course
man.
it's a fucking Tom Cruise movie.
Dude, he didn't nudge you. He didn't bump you. He didn't hit you. He rubbed you. And rubbing is racing.
Well, all right, let me ask you, how many Tom Cruise movies are there that I have? Because I think I've only seen
There's
like a few of the Mission Impossibles, and then there's the one where he did, like, what was it? It was like Night something, like it was like a joke spy one with what's her name? Fuck, what is her name? The girl with blonde. How does this always happen?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
All right.
Yeah.
One of the
I think that pretty much sums up.
Right?
That pretty much sums you up. That entire 30 seconds.
It really,
right there.
it really does.
That
It's
guy and
me
that
just
chick
not
with
being
the
able to
face,
think of shit, giving you vague
and the
descriptions.
boobs.
Yeah, she does have boobs, so we're on the right track. You must know who I'm talking about.
You're missing,
I don't.
She was
the vampire.
I'm trying to give you the name of the movie, but now I can't remember the name of the movie. Charlie's Angels.
Wow.
She was one of the Charlie's Angels in the movie. Not Drew Barrymore. Not Lucy Liu. The other one.
Is it about Cameron Diaz?
Cameron Diaz. There we go.
How the fuck do you not remember her name? She was
I don't know,
genre
but
defining. In The Mask, she was fierce as fuck in her intro.
Oh, yeah.
In something about Mary, like that. She's literally a meme.
Never saw Something
for
About
fuck's
Mary.
sake.
What the?
Of course you fucking haven't. Oh my God. Hooch, what
like,
are we
Too
gonna do?
old. It's too
we-
old.
we
sit
It's
there
too
and-
old.
Dude, we should just yell at him. He was masturbating.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't know.
Hooch, I know you're guesting on this week's episode, but how did you feel about a full-time spot? I sense that one might be about to open up.
Hey, I'm always good.
But all right, so using her to go back to what I was saying before, it was a Tom Cruise movie with him and her, and he was like a spy, and he was like trying to get her to fall in love with him, and he ended up kidnapping her because she kind of got caught in the middle of one of his plots. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like
I
Night.
actually do know the movie you're talking
It's like
about.
Night
because
something.
I can't remember the name of that one because it
Night
wasn't
and
one of
Day.
the better ones.
Oh, Night and
that's
Day.
right. Yeah, because of
Oh,
their
yeah.
names. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I mean,
Because there was that
picking more
motorbike
obscure
scene where she was turned around on the bike,
Yep.
and yeah, it was all in the ads. I remember now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was
I
not good.
remember now. No, it was not good. How do you remember that one, but you've never seen something about Mary? What the
What's another big one that you think I might have seen?
I'm
With
pretty
what,
certain
him
you
in it
haven't-
or her?
You haven't seen any of them.
I don't think so either, but like Tom Cruise specifically. I've seen movies with Cameron Diaz in it.
Dude, A Few Good
Yeah.
Men, Cocktail, Rain
Mhm.
Man.
Mhm.
Let's see, what else was there?
I know he's seen Tropic Thunder.
Oh yeah, I've seen Tropic Thunder. There we go.
Okay.
And
what
love
was the
Tropic
one-
Thunder.
Now I'm trying to remember the one
Of course
with the pool movie where he's playing pool billiards. I can't remember the name of that movie now.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. We
I
can go down
mean,
this rabbit hole for a long time.
It's true.
We should probably
Exactly.
explain why Piker's not here first.
Risky Business. Oh yeah, sure. go
Risky
ahead.
Business, that's right.
He's dead. No. So
To me,
look,
to
one of the
us.
joys of being amateur content creators or podcasters, whatever you want to call it, is that we all have full-time jobs, or we're all full-time students. Like, we've all got something going on. We're doing this part-time. Of course, we'd love to do it full-time, but it just doesn't financially justify it. So he's got a lot of dad stuff and real work stuff piling up at the moment. And with coronavirus, they haven't got the ability for the family to come help out. So he's just taking a little bit of time away from the show, as we're all going to do at some stage, I'm sure. So he's all fine, everything like that. Don't have to worry about him. But he's just taking a bit of a break from the show. So we might do rotating guests. We might hit up Hooch every week. We don't know which way it's going to go. We're just going to have a bit of fun over the next couple of weeks, and we'll let you know when Pike is going to be returning to the fold. But we should probably do some shameless shilling before we get on with the show, boys.
There we go. That's a lot of S words. Yeah.
It is. It should all of Sean Connery.
Yeah, you got
some shameless shilling. That should be the. If we do it radio show style, I'll put in a sting that just says shameless shilling.
Yeah, you should. We were talking about getting whatever you call it, a what is it called? The soundbite machine. Forgot what they're called. But we were talking about getting one of those. It would be great to get one of those, and we can have the shameless shilling one.
A soundboard?
Yeah,
I can't
soundboard. There we go.
with the soundboard, though, because I'm going to be putting in so much random shit.
I think that would be great.
It'll end up like your mum. It'll end up like your mum's house. 100%.
I think that'd be fucking fantastic. Why are we not doing that? That should, if you guys want to let the people decide. If you guys want a soundboard, come donate to the Patreon.
What he doesn't understand is that most of the soundboard, the first thing's going to be on the soundboard, Hooch? It's going to be a clip of Hebrew saying, I haven't seen that.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. It'll save me the time of actually saying it myself.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
that. I don't get that reference.
Hooch and I could do an episode without you, and it's like, how about you, Hebrew? Have you
Haven't
watched
seen
that
it.
one? Oh, I haven't seen it. Okay, and moving on. Yeah. All right, so time for the shameless shilling. So look, if you are enjoying this show, most nerds tend to flock with other cocks, so make sure you tell your friends about it. You don't have to have cocks. You can tell them about it anyway. That's fine. Make sure you share the news of this show, because obviously it really helps us grow. Word of mouth tends to help these podcasts more than anything. Make sure you join the Discord as well, discord.me/ANR. We've been playing a lot of games with a lot of you folks this week. It's been great. And the conversations that we've seen developing, I'm loving that nerd debates are starting. Makes me very exciting. And also, make sure you leave us a review over on Apple Podcasts. It really helps get exposure to the show. If you do have a 5-star review for us, if you leave a comment there, we will absolutely read it out live on air the following week. So thank you to Hookshank, who did exactly that this week. He said, or she said, I don't know for sure, I think it's a he. Really great content. I'm a carryover from the Masters of Launch podcast, and really happy to hear the much more diverse nerd culture discussions. I believe we were promised a Guy Love duet on Masters of Lunch, though perhaps a trio now. Let me come back to that in a sec. And lastly, of course, is the Patreon. Make sure you head on over to patreon.com/ANR pod, as in Alter Nerd Reality Pod. Now, we have tiers starting up from $1, but the $5 and up, you guys get to have custom videos that we're doing for those guys. They will get a live version, including pre- and post-show chats that is up the day that we record. That way, everything is super relevant as of that day as well. But do you guys remember the Guy Love song from Scrubs?
No. It's been, honestly, it's been so long since I've seen Scrubs. I have seen all of Scrubs. It's just been forever since I've seen it.
You're going to have to get a recording of me quoting Hebrew. I haven't seen that.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, this is where that soundboard would come in handy, people. We hop on that.
That would have been perfect timing. But there was a duet that Turk and JD did in the musical episode. It was called Guy Love. And we had a fan of the show called Bad Panda who said he wanted to hear a version of that for our shenanigans suggestions back in the day. So we might be able to make it happen.
I'm sure we can make it happen.
That's what your intro was, Hooch. Because in that show, they had the line, they had a crazy character called Hooch. And it was like, Hooch is crazy. And whenever he heard someone say that, he'd be like, I'm going to burn your house down. But do it like this really creepy smile on his face. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I need to rewatch Scrubs now because I mean I do remember the Guy Love song, like what it is. I just don't remember how it goes at all. But I do need to rewatch
enough,
it.
You actually literally quoted the lyrics from the song. Guy Love, that's what it is.
Oh, there you go. It's subconsciously still in my brain, and it tries to make its way out. Yeah.
It's in there. Now, we haven't officially got anything for this, but Hebrew and I were talking off air the other day that when we do have people on the show going forward, we kind of need to know what you're packing, Hooch, right? We need to know what have you got zipped up in your nerd pants that you're willing to unfurl here. So tell us a little about like what flavor of nerd are you, man? Like what are you into? What are some of your like favorite movies, favorite games? I know that's always a shitty question to ask, but what are you into so people can get a feel for where you're coming from?
Oh man, well, I mean, it's not really that bad of a question because, as far as I'm concerned, been a nerd and into gaming for God knows how long. But like sort of my go-to, super huge fan of Batman and DC, mostly Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. Like ever since I read the first Harry Potter book back in 2001, I think, when I finally got a hold of it, just hooked ever since then. So much so that I actually parlayed that into my current job. Working for Warner Brothers, one of the game studios. So we mess with all of the IP that I have come to love. It was just a great thing one day to just sit in the studio and be like, oh my God, I love that movie. I played those games. I love that game. So yeah, I mean, as far as games go, I've gone anywhere from like sports games back in the early 90s on the Sega Genesis, fighting games when Street Fighter 2 came out big, and Tekken and all the other stuff. Like I've just got a huge library of like interests in games and things like that. So like usually if it's kind of like a fighting game or an action game or something like that, I'll probably give it a shot just to see how it is.
Let me ask you this. What's your favorite fighting game of all time?
You know what? I think I'm going to have to say Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Have you ever played Bloody Roar?
Yes, I played Bloody Roar. I played the shit out of Bloody Roar.
Do you love the shit out of Bloody Roar?
Bloody Roar was a fantastic game.
Kindred spirits, my friend. There's so few people that have played that game compared to the amount of people that should have played that game.
Oh, Bloody Roar.
My God, that game was amazing.
Yes.
Just so you know, I literally look up this game just to see if it's ever coming back at least 3 times a year. And I have good news in this front because it's been I think 10 years or so since they made the last one.
Oh,
does that sound right to you?
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon it's longer.
Yeah.
They did copyright the Bloody Roar, or whatever they call it, re-upped the trademark recently for their Bloody Roar franchise.
Oh, that's
so
good news.
Yeah, we might be seeing something with it in the future, so I'm super excited.
It could be either one of things. Like either they're working on something, or they just don't want it to lapse because it's like something that they're kicking around as possibly bringing back. We just know that it's not completely dead. So,
yeah, well, yeah, the hope is there, and that's all we need to keep going. Just the hope.
Yes, yes, just a little sliver. There is a chance.
Exactly. Next question. This is my last one. Is just who's your favorite comic book hero and villain?
I have to stick with the DC Batman. Batman's my jam. It's the Batman Joker dynamic. I know it sounds super cliche, but like what good writers can do with those two is fantastic. And I think one of the best writers, again, super cliche, Frank Miller, is his version of Batman is what I think Batman would be. Batman is broken. He is, clinically insane. Anyone who would do that, and Frank Miller shows us like what years of that does to a person. And so that's why I really, really enjoy his take on it. I mean, there are some other Batman comic books that I'm really interested in. Like, the Tower of Babel is the one that kind of stands out to me because it's like, this is Batman showing how badass he is. He knows how to take out the entire Justice League.
Damn.
So it's those kind of things that it's not just Batman and the gadgets, but it's Batman being like the world's greatest detective. Anytime you show that to me, I'm like, that is who Batman is.
Man, I've never seen that version of Batman before. It's like the only version of Batman I've seen because I've never read the comics for Batman. It's literally only been the movies. So I've never seen that version of him before.
They need to show it. I mean, that's you get I think we had a conversation about that, like in Discord, like the tiny snippet you see of that in the movies is when he's trying to piece together like the fingerprint on the bullet.
Oh yeah, I remember that conversation. Yeah,
yeah, and obviously the argument was, well, he's just using the technology. Like, yeah, that's true, but he has to be smart enough to figure out, I can take this technology and figure this out.
Right, that's true.
When you said we had an example of his detective work in the movies, I thought for sure you were going to quote Clooney when he was doing the whole, it makes the letters M-A-H-E.
No.
Maybe it's an R, M-R-E, mystery, enigma, Edward Nigma. And then, Alfred sitting there going, you really are quite clever, sir. People don't understand that about you. It was like one of the worst.
Don't make fun of my
pieces
dad's
dialogue
movie, dude.
In DC.
What are you doing?
But that's harkening back
Jesus
to the
Christ.
Adam West Batman days when they ran across Riddler. Like I could just see him sitting there with his hand, M-R-E, Nigma, and then, Burt Ward down there like, holy, Riddler's Batman, it's just like that kind of thing. You're like, no, I don't even know.
Then you have Pete Holmes, walking around going, I am the world's greatest detective. When you think about it, that version of Batman that he did for that College Humor series, it literally sounds like Trump as Batman. Have you noticed that?
Oh, God.
You're right, actually, yeah.
Why did you do that? You just ruined that for me.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah. I listened to it maybe a couple weeks ago, and I was like, this sounds like Seth Meyers' impression of Donald Trump.
Oh, boy.
And I was like, holy shit.
I mean, that only makes it funnier to me. Because he's a terrible Batman in that.
Yeah.
In
Can you
the
imagine
clips.
Trump was that superhero? Look,
Jesus.
I have a secret identity that I need to protect. I can't tell any of you who I am. Oh, no, wait, I need credit for this. I'm the Donald. Like, really? We had no idea.
He would claim
he
he
literally
caught-
stopped at McDonald's in the Batmobile.
Yeah.
We knew
Yeah,
it.
He would,
exactly.
He would claim he caught Joker as Joker was murdering someone in the street. Like,
Yeah.
we captured Joker. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
He's right
Robin
there.
deserves no credit. It was all me.
Oracle did nothing.
Yeah.
I think we're stumbling on like a great new College Humor Batman revival series.
No, Jesus
Donald Trump, the
Christ.
secret
We got
superhero
something
of
to sell.
America.
Yeah.
Dude, I will write this. Yeah. I have to get a better Trump impression if we're going to do this, though.
I think the only difference is Bruce Wayne's women wanted him to touch them.
Oh, that's a funny
yeah.
angle, though. That's a funny angle.
It's a
'Cause,
really good
that's why
one.
he dressed up as Batman in the first place and got the grappling hook so he could go into women's apartments uninvited.
Oh,
I said no, Donald. How about now? I brought toys. Look at my utility belt. This one's a dildo. This one's lube. I tell you
Oh
what,
my God,
if
this
I offered you
sex utility belt.
$133,000, would that change your mind? Oh my God.
I think this needs to come to life, but I think we have something.
First of
here.
all, phrasing, but let's move on, shall we? So, Hooch, let's start with you, man. What have you been watching or playing this week?
For me, most part, I managed to pick up the Hyrule Heroes or demo.
Oh, yeah,
the
how is
Nintendo
that?
Hyrule Warriors demo. Sorry, it was actually pretty good. It was nice to go back to that feeling of playing Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's a very similar. I mean, it looks the same. But it's that like Dynasty Warriors like beat 'em up. This to me actually is what I would think. This is how badass Link should be, right? These guys should be like just mowing down these freaking dudes left and right, like just slicing them up. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I played it for about probably about an hour or so, and I'm probably gonna pick it up, when the full thing comes out, because it was just nice to just pick it up for a little bit, play, slash some stuff, kill some dudes, grab some gear, and then the moveset they have is actually like pretty good. Just a lot of different attack types that you have, and he even has like some of the special moves that you have, like the the ice block and throwing in the bomb, like all that stuff has been added in there. So it's like kind of going back and getting an expansion to Breath of the Wild in prequel form, since you're going back to the time before the Calamity or whatever. So it was a lot of fun.
How many characters could you play on the demo?
Well, I had only played with Link at that point. I don't know if there are any others yet. I didn't get that far in it to do that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm really going to keep going. So we'll see what it gets to.
Yeah, I love I shouldn't say it. The Dynasty Warriors style is not my favorite, but it's something that I haven't played in such a long time now that I miss it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there is nothing like you being a warrior and you're defeating 20 warriors at a time.
Or you're just slashing through and all of a sudden the number pops up 600 KOs. You're like, holy
Exactly.
crap.
Yeah. Yeah. there's no way to feel like a badass more quickly than playing one of those style of games.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm going to download that and I'm going to download the demo for sure, and I'm going to buy it 100%.
Yeah, definitely download the demo. I suggest everybody downloads the demo. I mean, Nintendo kind of sprung it on us. We weren't expecting it. They didn't announce it. It was like, here's a demo. And I think it's definitely worth a look.
Yeah, I agree.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a great combination of games. I've never played any of the Hyrule Warriors games, but yeah, it sounds really rad because I like those sort of really big, slashy, overpowered type feeling games. I don't know why it made me think of it, but do you guys remember on the PS3 launch, there was Heavenly Sword? Do you guys remember that game?
Mm-hmm.
I never played it.
So I purposely did not buy a PS3 because I was told by one of the executives that no matter what they charged for it, I was going to buy the console. And I said, no, I'm not.
So you did it out of spite?
I did it out of spite. I don't regret that decision. I mean, there were some games I missed, but hey, I got a PS4 and all those cool games on the PS3 are now on the PS4. So
yeah, all the good ones
like
they re-released. Like God of War Collection was one of the first things they did on PS4 as well. So you could play all the high-def versions of those for sure. But it was a game very much like that. And it was an interesting way to intro a game too, where you had like the fully fleshed out end game character at the start. And then basically you wreck shit. And then you lose all your powers. And then you have to basically slow the game back over time. And so many games do a really bad job with that kind of intro. But that feeling of general... Like, so many games where they're trying to make you feel powerful get that wrong. Like, the abilities don't feel like they're weighty. You know, it just kind of has, like, a really cheesy psh sort of noise. You're like, I don't know about that. And then, like, you see other things like, you know, some of the Arkham games do that pretty well, where they just get folded in half. And you're like, that's what I want to see. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, the only issue I have with games like that is, like, it's similar to the forced failure moment. Where you're like, no matter how hard you... Well, the forced failure moment was worse because you're like, I'm going to try to beat this. You'll restart it. And it's like, no, you're supposed to fail. Like, thanks for telling me that. But then in the beginning, you're like, oh, I've got this super awesome, badass guy. And then you take all my shit away? Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I will say that the new trend that they've been doing a little bit more, which I think is really cool, is that the forced failure moment, there is a chance. Like, they actually do build in that if you beat this... you can get a completely different ending. Like, I have always loved that concept. So only the last couple of years that this has been a thing where, like, the first boss, theoretically, if you're good enough, you can beat it. Like, apparently in Ghosts of Tsushima, you can actually beat that guy the first time around, and then you're done.
Oh, wow.
Which I didn't know that was the case until afterwards. So they're starting to do that kind of thing. Or, like, Far Cry, was it 3 or 4? I think it was 4. Have you guys know about that ending?
Mm-mm.
So the big bad guy, I think it's 4. He basically, like, you're literally at a table opposite the end game villain at the start, and he basically says to you after this sort of back and forth exchange, "Stay right there," and then you basically that's your chance to escape, right? If you stay there at the table and you wait, you skip the entire game and you end it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Apparently, if you sit
Dude,
at
that's
that table
honestly
and you wait,
fucking awesome.
it's a cool idea,
That's
right?
honestly fucking awesome.
More games are doing that now, where it's just like, look, we're going to make this uber difficulty. Like, no one but a 16-year-old kid with the reflexes of a god are going to be able to beat this. But we want to make sure that you know that you could. And I think that's the better way to do it. Like, say, we're going to give you the end game boss now with no abilities, no powers, no nothing. If you can beat it, all the luck to you. Otherwise, you're going to have to go through the game and get more powerful. So, yeah, I think it's a really cool way because I hate those force failure moments where it is designed that you're supposed to lose. I agree with you there, Hooch, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's always awkward whenever you do beat it. And then it's like, you know, the cutscene hits and you're bloodied up and the other guy's like, fine. And it's like, I just beat the shit out of you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here? But, I mean, you had that in Breath of the Wild, too, right? You could just, if you were good enough, once you got off that plateau, you could go straight
to the Guardians.
Yeah.
Game and straight to the, And if you were badass enough to do it, you could take out the final boss, right?
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
So going back to what you were talking about, like, was it Far Cry, where you could just sit there and the end of the game, and it's like, to me, that's kind of sad. You're like, oh, thanks for your $60. Have fun.
Right?
Oh, you can still go back and play.
It's kind of a bold move.
Well, it was a different ending. Like, apparently, it was just like, oh wait, really? You stayed? Okay. So then, and apparently he was true to his word. Like, apparently he kind of says, I still haven't played that game, but he says something along the lines of, stay right there and we'll figure this all out or something. So yeah, I love the idea of that. I think it's a really cool sort of thing. It would be great if like the developer just came in and just goes, "What the fuck? You beat this, motherfucker?" They're pretty good, especially on the Nintendo guys. There'd be something really awesome to see about these really clean cut, very sweet sort of Nintendo guys that just come across as very adorable. They're just, they're like, what the fuck? How'd you beat this? All right. What else you been playing this week, Hooch?
A lot of Watch Dogs, Legion, and yeah, it's throwing some Genshin in there too. But yeah, Watch Dogs has been the big one. Having a blast with that actually. I didn't play Watch Dogs obviously because it was a steaming pile of garbage. Yep. And I spent about a little bit over an hour or two in Watch Dogs 2, but then something else came up, like real life stuff, so I couldn't go back to it. So coming into Watch Dogs Legion like totally fresh is like it's just a really fun experience. I spent the first hour not doing the mission and instead just running around fucking with people. Like messing with their phones and hacking cars and just doing all sorts of other crap like that. And then I realized, oh, you know what? I should probably go on the mission. So talk about, I mean, the environment, the textures, the game just looks gorgeous with one exception: the character models. Like the texture sometimes on their clothes are really good, but like their faces and the hair. Oh, the hair. You're like, it's like you were this close. You were this close. So when you're in a cutscene and you're looking at a character, you're like, you look like an N64 character in like, a PlayStation 5 background kind of thing. It just it takes you out of it a little bit, but overall, I mean, I can't wait to play the game more and get further in and experience some of the other stuff they have. Like what you have, like big old guns, I guess at some point you can start shooting people up with. I haven't done that yet. So I really, really want to just dig into that a little bit more.
I now know I'll never play this game because the hair textures are terrible.
Just run around with bald characters. It's fine.
Yeah, I can't deal with shitty looking hair in like gameplay cutscenes and things like that. It drives me fucking insane.
Yeah, I know. That's why I specifically mentioned it.
You just don't want me a part of that club.
I'm definitely going to talk about Watch Dogs in a sec as well, but you just reminded me of a really cool AI story I saw this week. So in Europe, they're trying to get these sort of like AI cameras that are better at tracking the action on a soccer field. So they're kind of designed to track the ball better and this sort of stuff. And what happened is the AI fucked up because there was a bald guy as the referee and it locked onto that as the ball. So it literally followed this poor fuck for the entire game. So the guy they're watching all the playback footage has basically got like bald porn all over his laptop. Amazing.
It feels so bad to be that guy, probably.
Yeah.
Or maybe he likes the attention. Maybe he's like, finally, someone understands the referee's the real good part of this game.
Well, a lot of people want to say the refs don't make or break games. Here you go. He broke that game.
It's all about him.
It's all about
exactly. So look, I'm having a lot of fun with Watch Dogs, man. Like, you're exactly right. The first one was trash. The second one was actually a really great game. It was mainly the narrative storyline that got me mostly into that. The gameplay was okay, but it was mainly the storyline in 2 that I really liked. Like the way that they were using a lot of what was happening at the time with infringements on digital liberties. It was very, very apt for the time. The time jump, I don't know that I'm as into this version of London early on in the story as I think I was with Watch Dogs 2. I don't think it's as engaging yet, right? There are certainly moments because I lived in London, though, as you said, with the way that they've rendered the city. Like my wife came in the other day and I said, "Oh, let me show you something." And I literally like drove a car to a couple of spots of like where we stopped at a cafe or we took a photo when we were in London like a year or so ago. And she's like, "Holy shit! Like they've nailed it." Like even though it's in the near future dystopia, like they've really done London well. That part's good. Yeah. But like you said, and the criticism's been leveled recently against them for the footage so far of Valhalla as well. The people that have played that have been saying the same thing. The worlds and the environments and the outfits, the armors, the weapons, they're all meticulously designed. But that just shows, because it is so good, it shows how dated a lot of their character and facial animations are. Like it really does stick out. And that can sometimes pull you out. Not enough to say, like, don't play this game. Definitely not.
Exactly.
The mechanic that I thought I wasn't going to be into when I saw it on the box. I definitely am. And that is the fact that anyone that you encounter in the world, whether they are a neutral party, a friendly, or an enemy, is that you can try and recruit them to the cause of DedSec and then add them as a playable character. I didn't realize how different the kits for each of these characters are. Like, you'll have, and some of them in negatives as well. It's kind of like the old Fallout perk system. So you'll have someone that's just like, so they're a person that's homeless, but the reason they're homeless is that they were a hacker that got busted. So they've got like really fast hack times, but he's also got a gambling problem. So you'll randomly lose money from your account because he's gambled it away. Right, I fucking love little flavor text like that, but not just flavor text, but flavor ability. It will impact your thing. But the construction worker I've spent as mainly my exploration character. I don't know if you have as well, Hooch, who basically can summon a transport drone out of the sky whenever he wants to, and you just get on it, and then literally you basically have like a flying drone that you ride around on like Monkey Magic. It's unbelievably cool. So I'm really impressed by how they've embraced the verticality in this game, that you literally can bypass puzzles in so many different ways. You can get, you'll like this, Hebrew. There is a James Bond style spy character.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep, that when you unlock them, they come with an Aston Martin looking car. It's definitely not an Aston Martin for legal reasons.
Right.
But it very much looks like one that has missile launchers. He has a spy watch. Fucking amazing, right?
That's cool.
Silence pistol. Cool. And so there's a lot about this that I'm really enjoying. So I'm kind of the same as you, Hooch, is that I love exploring the world. The main story isn't grabbing me majorly yet, because I think that with Watch Dogs 2, it was this world. It was this world in our time. The issues were very relevant to me. Whereas with this, like, I have to get into the whole London fell, here's why, now you're going to bring it back. And the reason it fell and how willing... I can't really... anything I say is going to be spoilers, I guess. But let's just say the story's not grabbing me as much as I wanted it to. But the gameplay and the diversity is enough that I want to keep playing it. Now, the melee combat system is clunky as fuck. I don't know if you felt the same way.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely not clean.
Yeah, and it's such a big part of it too, right? You're supposed to... It feels like it wants you to be that person, not going around murdering everyone. Although I will say, going around murdering everyone with guns, the consequences are not severe. Like, you definitely can't play that way.
I was more amazed at like how precise your shooting can be, where you just like boop dead, boop dead, boop dead. And of course, I am playing it on PC. Maybe that's just I'm super awesome with my accuracy. I'm not, but it's still nice every now and then. Like for me, one of the I mean, I love the fact that you said like you can recruit anybody, but there's also the fact that you can like hack into so many different electronic things. Like I'll be driving around the city and then auto drive. You can target a part on the map, hit auto drive, and then the car just takes you to where. Although mine keeps dropping me off like 100 meters away from where I want to go, so it's like I gotta run the rest of the way or manually drive it. But when you're doing that whole auto drive thing, you can kind of look around and take in the scenery and cause other cars to careen off the road into each other, into pedestrians, and into the evil police bad guys. I'm not gonna say their name, whatever, Albion or something like that. You can just do that randomly, and as you're driving through, just clearing your pathway. It's a lot of fun, especially when you see some of the reactions of people when a car that was just driving past them all of a sudden turns into them. It's hilarious. And going back to the whole the cargo bot thing, have you got to the part where you can have fun picking up things? Yeah. And I did one entire mission where I cleared out a spot just dropping stuff on people.
Yeah, and look, there is a lot of fun with that too. Like, I have to admit, some of the puzzle complexity in this has been one of the more fun ones that I've had in a while. Because so many game puzzles, it's just like, oh, this trope sucks. It's so played out. Like, it's not a clever puzzle. It's just a time-consuming puzzle. And that's why Breath of the Wild was so engaging. Because, like, some of the puzzles in that, you're like, wait, how the fuck am I going to do this? And then, like, you saw playback videos of, like, holy shit, that guy did it that way? I did it completely differently. And I think this game has a lot of that. Like, there's been some things where, like, I've used a cargo drone to carry my spider drone up onto the top of a building because you couldn't get in there any other way. And then you, like, thrown the spider drone off there into where he needs to go. and then use the cargo bot to like move shit around so there's got an easier path. Like the amount of different ways you can solve some of those puzzles, that I like. Like when you put me in an open world game, any moment that feels super linear and then it gives you one choice and one choice only, that really is jarring. And I think open world games where you feel more open worldy and in control, where things are possible, that's always been the most exciting thing about games like that. So I think this game's giving that vibe. Admittedly, I'm only like, 6 hours into what they're saying is probably a 25-hour campaign. Now, it's probably longer with the way I'm playing it because I'm, trying to get all the tech upgrades by the end of the game. But
yeah,
it's fun, man. Like, I really recommend picking it up. But more importantly, and we should talk about this as well, Hooch, is just how cheaply you can play this game if you're a PC owner, thanks to Ubisoft Connect and Uplay Plus. It's a new service. I only got switched on a couple of weeks ago. We talked about it here on the pod last week. But for $15, you can, per month, I should say, and think about it, like with the games that are coming out in the next month for these guys, you have this game, Watch Dogs Legion. You have on the 10th of November, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And the first week of December, you have Immortal Phoenix Rising. So these 3 games, you can theoretically, if you time it right, like if you just get the subscription for 1 month, $15, you can play all 3. There's cross-save and cross-play on all their new titles thanks to Ubisoft Connect. I don't know about you, man, but I've been really impressed with how this has been performing. Their desktop app's a little bit shitty, but other than that, like now that we discovered the phone app just before this recording, which you and I were going through, the fact you can like find all of your friends across multiple platforms as long as they're playing an Ubisoft game, it's pretty good for like in its first month of usage.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely amazing to have this opportunity to be able to just, kind of pick and choose the games you want to play for a very low cost. Like if you think about it, as you said, you can spend less than the cost of like a full game to play 3 games, and not just the 3 brand new games, but you've got their entire, like a lot of their back library as well. So, we start talking about like Watch Dogs 2, right? You can go back and play Watch Dogs 2. You've got Assassin's Creed Valhalla. You're like, oh, where's the Assassin's Creed story now? What did I miss? Maybe I played one that didn't want to go out and spend the money on any of the other ones. You can go back and play all of the Assassin's Creed. Are you a Tom Clancy fan? Play those games too. So, I mean, for $15, it's definitely a very good investment of money, and you just get so much more back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, if you've never played an Assassin's Creed game ever, the value on this is just beyond insane. It really is. And so far the features feel pretty good. There's some unanswered questions, of course. Like we were trying to find and test this ourselves before the show. Of if I have Ubisoft Connect, because it's only available on PC right now. Sorry, Ubisoft Uplay Plus, I should say.
Yeah.
So I've got my membership. I can play the game for my $15. But it says it's cross-play and cross-save, that all my progression from my consoles are going to matter as well. So it doesn't matter where I go, I can play it. But it's not available on the consoles. So the question is, do I then have to buy it for the consoles? Or is there a way that I can link my account and I can just simply download it? We're trying to kind of figure all these things out now. Is it as simple as, you download the game somehow and then you log into your Ubisoft account as you log into the game? And it might say to you, okay, you have to buy it now, or no, you've got the membership. I don't know. But it seems like it's going to be PC only. But these questions that are unanswered, if it ends up being that you can literally pay this $15, play with any of your friends, regardless of console, have your progress carry over, regardless of console or PC, it's massive. Like, no one else can do that right now. No one.
I mean, I think that's enough. Like, even if it turns out that you can't get like another copy on a different platform, right? If it's just that you have the ability to make that connection, have your saves no matter where you go, that is a huge amount for your money, right? Huge value for your money. So yeah, even if it's just that, I still think it's worth it.
Oh, for sure, because you can still find your friends easily. Like, I mean, the app does do a really good job of that. That you can basically see, Hebrew has just logged on his PlayStation for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Let me hook up with him. You know what I mean? So, I'm impressed. Like, because normally these things, when they first come out, they're always kind of a poor value, bit of a disaster, and they evolve over time. But it seems like Ubisoft's gone balls deep, and I think that it feels exactly like it should. And I thought I'd be a $15, play my 3 games over the next month, and probably bail, but I don't think I will. I think I'll probably keep it.
Yeah, I mean, even when I hit a lull in something, like maybe I don't want to play a game right now or want something new to play, just go back to what you got before, like the library from back. When we were talking, there's an old game on there I used to play when I was younger, Speed Busters.
Right.
I want to fire that sucker up. Old racing game. It was garbage, but I still want to try it again. Maybe feel like I know more and I've learned something. But, even then, like the Tom Clancy series I mentioned before, all the Assassin's Creed, just there is so much available to you. It's hard to say no to something like that, and it's only $15 a month.
I know. Well, I was saying, for me, like deep in that back catalog was the Heroes of Might and Magic series. I used to play those all the time, up until about 3. Yeah. Well, all the Might and Magics, all the Heroes of Might and Magic, they were all in there as well, Hebrew.
Yeah.
I played a couple of the Might and Magics. They had a mobile game come out not too long ago too. That was actually pretty decent. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Worth a check out.
I'll check it out. Yeah. So I think summary of that is Watch Dogs Legion. I think if you like the second one, you're gonna like this one. If you haven't played them before, like I think just the fun factor of it, like you'll find yourself curious about other people in the game, which I think is probably the thing I love the most. Is that you'll go, that guy looks interesting. Wonder what he's all about. Oh, that chick looks interesting. She's dressed rather provocatively. Is she? And she's standing on a street corner. Is that a hooker? And like you'll look at their phone and it'll tell you who they are, what they do, some of the traits about them, and some of the character text is amazing as well. Like I put one on the Discord the other day, which was just hilarious. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think I'm probably going to follow this one through to completion. There's a lot of games coming out for competition, so if it does keep its spot in my weekly rotation, it's going to do well. But I think it's got legs. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is like every character has a backstory or has some sort of mission that you need to do to recruit them. I mean, that's got to be insane. The size of that alone, right? To be able to pay like anybody you can talk to, you can recruit them, and they're going to have some requirement in order to be recruited.
Yeah, it's a good point because I think you will find if you played it enough and you try to recruit enough people, Hooch, I reckon you're going to find repetition. Like I don't think there's going to be enough of those. You know what I mean? Because you have to. I mean, it's like No Man's Sky. Like after a while, all these randomly generated worlds, eventually you're going to get overlap where two planets are, eerily similar. And I think that's going to happen here. But I do love the idea of it. Like someone who's kind of already endeared to DedSec, they're like, yeah, I'll join. No worries. Someone who's kind of unsure, they're like, look, man, I've got this personal problem. If you can help me out with it, I'll join. And then you have the enemy, like the people that are working as like security forces for the main sort of, antagonist in the story. You can go, look, man, come work for us. They're like, seriously? You guys are terrorists. I'm not going to come work for you guys. And then you'll find out something about this person. It's like, well, if you go and do this for their family member, that'll make them more friendly. So some of them are so challenging, but their perks are so good that it's worth like going through it. Because some of them have like 2 or 3 levels of story quests just to get them to join your team, Hooch. I don't know if you've tried any of those yet. So like one of the enemy cops, for example, one of the benefits that you get is that if you get him to work for you and then you're a playable character, whenever you're going through like their zones where if you're seen in there, they'll start shooting at you, you're one of them. You can just pass right through, just walk straight through because you're a cop. You're one of their boys. So I love that complexity. They're like, yep, we're going to make you jump through a lot of hoops to be able to recruit that guy to your squad. But when he does, he's going to really, really, work out well for you. So like you said, you can get these heavy gunner guys later on. It's awesome, dude.
Yeah. That's fantastic. So what you're telling me is I should actually try to work more, not just see somebody who has that little thumbs down icon and shock the shit out of them.
Look, I mean, I still do a lot of that, especially since I got the James Bond spy. I've been playing just as that guy so much. I actually had one guy I liked before that. But what ended up happening, this was so dumb, is that I was in the middle of a mission and my kid and my wife came into the room. And I thought I hit pause, but I didn't. So even though I was in an area where no one was there right then, what happened is because I still had my gun out, it freaked out citizens. They called the police, who then came. And normally, like with a low-level threat like that, you'd have an hour to get away, right? But when I came back and my main guy had been arrested. But that opened up, I don't know, have you had anyone arrested yet?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay, so this actually led to a part of the game that I wouldn't have got to do if this didn't happen, right? Is that what happened is he's arrested. So it basically brings up a recommendation on the map of you should track this person down because we have someone in jail. We need a legal team to deal with this. So you track down a barrister, a lawyer, and then you have to do her story mission to get her to come work for you so you can get people out of jail faster. It's really, really fun idea.
Oh my
really
God.
fun idea. I had no idea. This was like the least selling point for me on the box. Now that I've played it, I think they've undersold the potential of this game and the different playthrough like versions you could do with that. I think the storyline's going to be a little bit maybe monotonous. I hope it gets better. I don't know. But the world itself is fun enough to fuck around with things like that I recommend playing this game. I really do, especially for $50. Let's be real.
And also, don't forget that if you're a clothing, kind of person, there's shopping, stores all over the place. You can buy new clothes and outfit your characters, and
I will say there was a nostalgia moment for me because like there was the Camden Markets, which is a notorious like strip of markets in London, and the way that they had it, so it wasn't just one shop with all the same shit on there. It was all different styles and all different like. This one was like an urban London store. This one was like suits. This one was that. I thought it was mad. I thought it was really, really good. I'm not going to mess too much with that sort of, outfits and whatnot. But I do love you can do things like putting on like a really fancy bespoke suit because you want your spy guy to be as James Bond as fuck. Or you can basically go through and try and make a guy look like a caricature from Tron, and everything in between. It's really, really fun. I recommend it.
Or you can dress a dude up in drag.
Yes, that's right.
Actually, the clothes are not gender specific; they are gender neutral. So you can buy your guy a skirt and a blouse and a bra or whatever, or a sports bra, and have at it.
Absolutely. So I know you've been watching some stuff, but we'll loop back around to you in a sec, Hooch. What have you been playing this week, Hebrew?
Oh, I totally forgot we're still on the what have you been doing this week part. For me, mostly Genshin. I've actually gotten back into AFK Arena.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because there's been like a serious lack of good mobile games coming out, and I honestly like mobile games are like my jam. I like playing mobile games more so than platform games at this point, not because of quality of content, but just because of ease of play.
Before you talk about the game, did I see a trailer on my phone this week for AFK Arena that had Elijah Wood in it?
What?
What?
I've had the weirdest. I've had the weirdest ads for AFK Arena. Like you and I play that game for ages. Every single one of these trailers that I've seen has nothing the fuck to do with AFK Arena. Like they're showing game footage.
That's
that
always
exist.
been their MO.
It sucks. I fucking hate when they do that. But there was an ad that came up, and it was Elijah Wood and an orc, and I was like, number one, there's no orcs in that game, right? And number two, what the fuck is Elijah Wood doing? It was the weirdest ad. It popped up like when I was, I don't know, something on Facebook, and I was like, the fuck. It was definitely AFK Arena. I'm going to find it and send it to you.
I have the answer for one of them. One of them is that Elijah Wood needs a goddamn job that pays.
Yeah.
Because after Lord of the Rings, he did that one series, which was actually really fucking good. What was it? It was the one where he was with the
detective
dog.
Agency?
No. It was the one where he was with the talking dog. It was like a kind of like philosophic comedy series.
What?
With the comedian. Man, how am I blanking on this? The name of the show. Well, that's not a surprise that I'm blanking on the name of the show. But how have you guys not heard of it, I guess?
Are you sure you're talking about, isn't it like Dirk Gently in the Holistic Detective Agency or something?
No, it's definitely not.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to have to look it up.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm sorry, I have to look this up now. It has to be. It has to be done. Elijah Wood, IMDb. This should only take 1 second because he's only done like 4 things.
Right.
Okay.
He's done a lot more than that.
But all the different Lord of the Rings stuff. No, you're right. No, he hasn't done a whole lot.
Who's the guy that always gets confused with Elijah Wood? What's that actor's name? Like, there's a guy that looks very similar to him that people always go, oh shit, you were in Lord of the Rings. Like, no, I wasn't.
I saw there was a YouTube video on that of like them talking about each other. I remember.
Yeah.
Wilfred, by the way, that's the TV show.
Oh,
Wilfred.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Really fucking good, by the way. If you guys have not watched that, I highly recommend watching it. It's really, 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 really good. And it's really dark, too, which is really cool. Okay. By the way, there's a TV series for Princess Bride?
What?
They're working
on that right now.
That? Yeah. That came out, I think, a couple weeks
because apparently
before we started the
he
podcast,
plays Prince Humperdinck.
Oh shit.
Okay, because he plays Prince Humperdinck.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Very interesting.
So yeah, random thing that I just saw right there. But anyway, so back to what I was saying. Yeah, so I've been playing some AFK Arena, and it's been like a lot of fun actually. So like I've always had the game downloaded on my phone because honestly I knew that this was going to be a game that I was always going to keep because surprisingly, like, it is one of the most free to play games I feel like out there, even though you can spend shit tons of money in this game. Shit tons of money in this game. You can also, you get like, I've never seen a company give out as much free shit as this company does. I'm pulling, like, I haven't played or paid for anything on this game for like a super long time now. I put in some money at the beginning, but I'm pulling at least like basically like once every 2 days minimum. Sometimes I get like spurs of going on like 3 times 10 pulls a day. So like you get so much free currency in that game. It's crazy. So I always feel like I'm pulling. There's a way to target characters now. There's so many new like modes and stuff like that to the system. I don't know. It's a blast. Been like rediscovering it all. And they have, I don't know if anyone watches the anime series Overlord. Does that ring any bells for you guys?
I've seen the trailers for it, but I never watched it.
Yeah. Okay, well, 2 of the main characters, like, they have like these dimensional characters, which are like special characters that they come out with, and one is like King Arthur, and another one is Ezio, actually, from Assassin's Creed. They had to deal with Assassin's Creed, and Ezio's a character in it. Overlord, they have 2 characters from the anime on there. They have a character from Tekken on there. Fucking YouTuber Markapillar is in there with his dog. I don't know how that one worked out, but they pulled some deal with him. But lots of things there. He's not an actual character, and like he plays like a tavern owner. He's not actually like a battle character.
Right.
But yeah, but lots of cool stuff. There's always something to do on that game, which is fun. So yeah, I've been kind of messing around with that.
Remind me to send you an email after the podcast, because I got an email from AFK Arena, because I did spend a bit back in the day to do some reviews for a pod we're doing at the time. And there was an email that had like 15 different promo codes with basically here's a bunch of free stuff, but also you should definitely come back.
Well, yeah, send me that. I will definitely
I'll
put
send you
that
all the promo codes for sure.
All right.
You know what? I want my MSF email like that so I can give them the bird and be like, nope, not coming back.
Yeah, right. There's like literally nothing they could send me that make me come back to MSF ever.
No,
that's for sure.
Well, send me all the money I spent, and then it might come back
for free. Yeah, for free to play. Yeah. But anyway, so that, and then I have been, of course, playing Genshin, and then I've actually been watching like a lot of TV series. Okay. So there's been like 3 main ones that I've been watching this week. I'm not sure if any of you guys have. You guys might have watched 1 or 2 of them. I'm assuming no one here watches anime very much. Like, Chew, I know that you're not like a super big anime watcher.
I like the idea of it, but it's just like they always have, I don't know what it is. It seems like a high barrier to entry. Like, there's just always such an assumption of background lore that I feel like I'm missing. Like 1 or 2 episodes in, I'm like, I give up. With most anime,
you need to talk to someone who knows their anime to point you in the direction of like those gateway animes, because like that actually is important. And luckily for you, I'm one of those guys. So I can tell you right now, one of the best series to come in on entry for like people who kind of like comedy, like One Punch Man is one of the best.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Ones to come in for there. It truly is like it's an amazing anime. Whenever I said that, I was like, this is the show that I'm showing non-anime people all the time to get them to watch anime.
Yeah.
And it works so well. So, but anyways, this new anime that came out not too long ago called Demon Slayer, very fucking good. Anyone that watches anime out there, if you're not watching Demon Slayer, watch it. I promise you. It's absolutely amazing. Great story. The animations in it are fucking next level. So good. So definitely give that a shot if you're at all interested in anime. And A Blood of Zeus. Did you guys see that on Netflix?
No.
Okay, it was teased for like a good bit, but it's like it's Western animation, so it's not like Japanese anime. It's Western animation, but it's called Blood of Zeus. Obviously, has to do with the Greek mythos. It's just came out like 2 days ago. It's in the Netflix top 10. I think it's number 2 right now. It is... The animation's not great. For people that like Castlevania, the Netflix's series of Castlevania, that was really good. Mm-hmm. Really good animation, even though it was Western. Mm-hmm. You don't be expecting that level because it's not as well animated as that. But pretty good series. I'm nearly done with it. I would definitely recommend giving it a shot because it's pretty cool. If you like the Greek mythos, you should definitely give it a go. And then my last one, and then I swear I'm done for my what did I do this week? Queen's Gambit on Netflix. Did you guys see that?
Seen it, but not seen it. If you know what I'm saying. I've seen it on there. Yeah.
There's something so hauntingly attractive about the main chick. It's crazy. I mean, I don't know if you've seen her in a lot of things, but I've seen her in a good amount of things now. She's like popping up in a lot of different places.
Who's the actress?
I forgot her name, but she was the star in Emma. She was in New Mutants. She plays a big role in the newest season of Peaky Blinders, which is also a really great Netflix original series. And yeah, she's like, I think she won an Academy Award, but she was nominated last year for Emma. But yeah, she's really cool. But she has like her eyes are like kind of far, like they're spread out a little too far.
Right.
But she's like really attractive in it. I don't know. It's like she has like this weird look to her that's like once you start looking at her, you're like, okay, this is slightly odd, but like she's really hot. So it's a very weird type of boner that you get with her.
A weird type of boner.
It's a weird type of boner you get with her. But anyways, but she's a really, really, really good actress. Like I actually hate her in a couple of the things that she's done because she's such a good actress, you know?
Right.
Kind of like what was that kid's name in
Joffrey.
Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Dude, that was crazy. I actually really feel bad for him in his career because he played his part so fucking well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, that's the worst thing about that.
What?
Like when actors have a role that's like, you know, they play the villain, they play it so well, and people just get too carried away and they think that the actor is actually that type of jerk.
Oh,
yeah.
it used to happen to a lot of the WWE guys too. They do a heel turn and they were the guy, and then they did a heel turn like to take their turn eating shit for a while. And then they were just so good at it that they can never come back from it. Like my favorite there is always Kurt Angle, right? Kurt Angle, even when he's like the baby face, people are always just like, "You suck" whenever he walks out, like just because it fits his theme song so well. And even though they love him, it's just like, "You suck." Yeah, so good.
Love to hate him kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so for this, she plays she's like orphaned at a young age. She's a chess prodigy. She gets super addicted to pills in the orphanage because the orphanage gives them like tranquilizers and stuff like that. So she gets hooked on tranquilizers at a young age, and then she ends up developing like a couple of other addictions as the show progresses. But it's really, really good. It's a limited series, so there's not going to be like another season of it or anything. But definitely worth checking that out. That is pretty much all I've done this week. So not too many platformer games, at least.
Fair enough. All right, on to the watching side of things. What have you been watching this week, Hooch?
Not a whole lot this week, with the exception of, you know, the first episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian. But prior to that, I caught up on a lot of the full first season of The Cabin with Bert Kreischer. That was shout out to Grimnos for recommending that one. That was amazing. Yeah, it was. You know, it was more informative than I was expecting. You know, I was expecting him to go up there and have all these crazy, stupid antics because it's, you know, Bert Kreischer, the machine. Yeah. But no, I mean, he had a lot of stuff there. Like the whole purpose for him going up there and the premise behind it is because he recognizes he's pushing himself too hard. And, you know, he's going to have a heart attack. So he makes a deal with his wife to just go take some time. He's supposed to go up there by himself. But then, of course, he decides to turn it into a show, you know. And he invites a bunch of different comedians up there and other people to kind of hang out with him as he goes through this whole process of trying to, get himself recentered and, help himself from not having a heart attack and dying early.
Mm-hmm.
But the combination of characters he brings is great. Like, the first episode starts out with Joey Diaz and Tom Segura, and it's just freaking hilarious. Right?
Oh, those three in the same room would be loose. Yeah,
exactly.
Dude.
Yeah.
Although, as funny as that episode is, I think the Donnell Rawlings and Bobby Lee episode was just, oh my God. Like, he comes in and like the episode starts and he's getting a naked portrait of him laying on a bearskin rug, which is a callback to a previous comment in the first episode, right? And when Bobby Lee walks in, he's like, "Oh, I'm getting in on some of this." And then he just strips naked, and they're both kind of like, like it's that kind of level of like lunacy that's in there.
Yeah,
I mean, Bobby Lee. That does not surprise me with Bobby Lee at all, because he's a legit crazy person.
Yeah,
exactly.
And they actually go over that. They talk about that during the episode, like some of the stuff that they had to deal with. And it's I don't want to go into it because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but like it's really good.
I saw one episode. That was the one with Caitlyn Jenner and Nikki Glaser.
Yeah. I mean, that one was pretty good too. Although,
what?
Near the end of it, I'm like Caitlyn doesn't want to be there anymore.
100%. That was the thing I enjoyed the most. Is like you could just tell, just wanted to grab her handbag and go home. It was And Nikki Glaser, you could tell, was kind of picking up on it, and she was just cracking more jokes. It was I enjoyed it.
If you want to see a train wreck, though, I suggest watching the Joel McHale, Kaylee Cuoco, and Miss Pat episode.
That was the I saw this in the show notes, and I was like, I was meaning to watch this at some point, so I was like, I'll give one a shot. And I saw Kaylee Cuoco in it, and I was like, oh, like I'm gonna watch hers just because that's the most like out of like water one that I thought. I didn't even see the Caitlyn Jenner one though. That's the most out of water. But so I decided, I was like, I'll throw this one on, and it was hysterical, dude. Like, what the fuck? Miss Pat, like that Miss Pat chick, so goddamn. Everything she said was comedic gold. I was like, Jesus fuck.
Yeah.
When you said it was a train wreck, though, what do you mean? Like, without spoilers, why was it a train wreck?
Because nothing went the way he was hoping it was going to go. And he learned a very valuable lesson as a result. So again, like it leaves you with something to think about. And it left him with something to think about. But just like everything they tried to do in that episode just failed gloriously.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And you could also tell like Kaylee Cuoco and Miss Pat did not like get along. Like Kaylee did not like Miss Pat very well. It was super awkward for a lot of it, because it was just like a lot of Kaylee looking for like some kind of acceptance from Miss Pat, and Miss Pat just not giving a single fuck in the world about anything.
See,
so
comedians are such a
funny.
Specific breed too. Like they're so used to just destroying each other, and that's basically how they bond. That when you put those people in the same room, they just like they expect to throw it at you, and you'll just like hit it back. And they come up against all these like heavily woke, celebrities, and you just watch it fall apart. It's so funny.
Well, like Miss Pat is a large black woman, and she fits the stereotype
100%.
Full bore into it, and
so funny.
It's amazing.
One of the guys, I forgot what his name is, the fluffy guy, the Mexican comedian.
Iglesias, Gabriel Iglesias.
Yes. He he even said at one point, he was like, dude, you put in Tupac and Taylor Swift in the same room. Like, what did you think was gonna happen?
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
So really that's actually a really good segue from a character like Miss Pat to the babysitter in Borat 2. Do you guys both watch Borat?
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah.
I still have to watch Borat 2. No, I need to so bad.
So I watched it last night because I was trying to get that and The Mandalorian under my belt before today's episode. And they make it so hard to watch The Mandalorian here, man. I'm trying to pay cash monies to watch this show, and no one will take my money. So I'm going to have to find alternative options. But it's so I won't spoil it, but she's a very similar character to what you just described, Hooch. Like she's, a very, very sort of loving kind of character. But because people felt so bad for her because of how lovely she was in the show, people are raising money for her on Kickstarter or GoFundMe in big numbers. Like last time I saw it was like $50,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's way over that now. Last time I saw it, it was like 115 or something.
That's what I'm saying. It's been a couple of days because this woman was trying to save a girl really that she thought was in distress, right, without giving too much away. And it was a very genuine reaction, you know, to the point that you almost go, did they script this? Like, you kind of needed this character to start the secondary part of the storyline. And it makes you wonder if they changed the way this show was supposed to go because of that, the way this woman reacted naturally. So, yeah, I don't think it's as good as the first one, but it certainly is still very well done with what he did. I think they've definitely overhyped the Giuliani scene, though. I don't think that's as rapey as they made it out to be.
Well, even if it's a little bit, that's pretty bad, right? I mean,
you go into a hotel room with a young, blonde, Eastern Bloc woman, 9 times out of 10, you know which way it's going to go, right? Mm-hmm. And not just in the room, but they're in the room, everyone leaves, and she says, why don't we have a drink in my bedroom? Like, what do you think is going to happen when you walk through that door? But I will say this. I don't think there's the smoking gun evidence past that he was jerking off. He legitimately looked like he was tucking his shirt back in. I will say that. And I'll be the first person to call out someone from having a sneaky wank. Do not get me wrong, right? And Rudy Giuliani would be one of the last guys I would defend. But I think they've tried to get a bit of publicity out of this one. So
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that was definitely over sensationalized in the news, like a lot. Like, I was expecting a lot worse whenever I actually saw it, but it was still like, there's something about like seeing like really old men and like young women that's just like super creepy, like about like just all of the actions that they do, innocent or not. And like whenever he like puts his hand on her back, like, do you remember that part?
It was the thing is that I saw that in a very different way, because he didn't like put his hand there and like leave it there. He did a very tap tap tap, like a it was a very grandfatherly gesture to me. Like, he did a very tap tap tap. His arm was kind of the way he did it, I don't think it was pervy. I don't.
See, I read it a totally different way.
Oh, really?
I don't know if that's me going in it with a certain perspective. You know what I mean? Like expecting something like that. And like if this whole scandal thing had not have happened, if I would have read it the same way or not. But that's the vibe that I got whenever I was just like, ugh, creepy old guy with young woman.
See, if the hand stayed there, I'd be like, okay, if he has his hand just above her butt, I mean, lower back and butt, I think it was more back for sure. While she was, removing his microphone, I would have gone, you know what? Yeah, okay, I can see where this is going. Because like there's almost like the nonverbal communication of he's trying to keep her close or pull her in. Do you know what I mean? But it was such a kind of a tap, 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 like a thank you, like you're patting someone on the back. To me, I read it a little bit differently. I will say it's nowhere near the pervy type thing. But it's funny that you were talking about like how you find the idea of like an old guy, young girl gross. And combining that with Bobby Lee. I was literally only listening to a podcast episode with Bobby Lee when they had Sasha Grey, the porn star. Well, she's done a lot. She's actually an author as well now. But ex-porn star Sasha Grey on there. And he was talking all kinds of films. She goes, well, what kind of porn are you into? And he was like into that. Like the really, really old, gross guys with the ridiculously young chicks. He goes, I don't know why, but I was jerking off so much to that. It's so funny.
He said he was?
He was, yeah. That was what he was into.
Or she was?
Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee was into that.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
gotcha. That's
new
weird
stuff. So yeah, Borat 2, I mean, definitely check it out if you've got the Amazon Prime sub. I'm hearing nothing but amazing things about Mandalorian Episode 1. I'm super jealous. Without spoiling absolutely anything, Hooch, you said it was a good episode, right?
Oh yeah, it was a great episode. Let's see. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a lot of foreshadowing and even some, callbacks to other existing stuff in the universe that are immediately recognizable, but still kind of like, yeah, that's awesome that they did that. So
let me this is not doing anything like breaking anything, I don't think.
Don't you fucking do it.
But what, you don't know what I'm gonna ask?
I don't want to know. I need to see it.
All right. I'm just gonna. I'll to be safe, to be absolutely safe. I'll leave it just the way it is.
Send him a DM, you bitch.
Just dance around it. What are you?
Yeah.
Oh no. I'll message you and ask you. Hold on. I mean, like we can keep going, but I'll message you and ask you.
I'll talk about random shit while you guys have a little off-air chat. So I watched one non-nerdy thing and one nerdy thing this week. So Fleabag. Have you guys ever heard of the TV series Fleabag?
Mm-hmm. I've heard of it. I just haven't watched it. Yeah.
I have not.
Yeah. So
seen it.
This British actress / writer is kind of like the hot ticket at the moment. Like, she's a very much sought after. Amazon ended up being the one to snap her up on a deal where they said, look, you're going to work for us. You're going to write whatever you want, but you work for us now. Like, she's literally off the back of Fleabag and a couple other things she's written. She's very much in demand. I feel terrible. I can't remember her name right now, but she also plays the main character. And it's one of those deals where she does a lot of the Shakespearean aside, where she's sort of breaking the fourth wall and she's talking deliberately to the camera. And then the way that they do that is actually very clever. So she's basically a train wreck of a person. Over the course of the 2 series, you kind of find why, to some personal tragedies, and also like the relationship between her and her parents. So it's very much like a drama. It's more of like a comedy, romance, like comedy type thing, but done in a way that's very, very cool. Like, this chick is just unhinged. And the way she's kind of relating to you as the character is that you're kind of like, she's showing off to you early on. But then later on, you can kind of see her getting more embarrassed that you're seeing all of this. And the way that, like, the evolution of your relationship with that character is kind of cool. And then season 2 is very short because British TV series are like 6 episodes each, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Without spoiling it, what ends up happening is that a character starts saying, wait, what did you just do? Where did you just look just now? Like, starts to pick up on the fact that she is like going somewhere in her brain. And then she starts freaking out, going like, wait, you can see that? You know, so it's such an interesting idea. It's more of a sadder, depressing style comedy about, like, you know, you feel generally bad for this character most of the time, but then not in others as well. So look, I recommend it if you want something that's a little bit more on the dramatic comedy side of things. Some genuinely hilarious moments and dialogue, very well and cleverly written. So I recommend it, but not nerdy at all. And I thought, okay, I need something nerdy under my belt. What have I got? I can't find these goddamn links to get into Mandalorian and whatnot. So I actually went back and watched season 1 of Buffy, because I never watched that show episode to episode. I've just seen a couple of things here and there over various seasons, right? So I thought, all right, let me go way deep into the Whedonverse. And one thing that really jumps out at me is that they did not even try and fucking hide stunt doubles in that show. Like, you can, you can absolutely see the different face of the woman that is really fighting people. But there are these little moments of genius that I loved. Like, for example, there's one scene where there was such a small detail, such a tiny, tiny detail. But for me, I fucking thought it was brilliant. So there is a scene early on with Buffy and Angel, who, for those of you who don't know, was a vampire in this thing. She doesn't know early on. And what happens is he gives her a cross, seemingly for no reason, very early on in the series. And she wears it everywhere. And that's kind of a sign of when she's into him, when she's not. And I thought that was the whole device. I actually think that as a director, he put it in there for one reason only. And it was to show that he was going to give a little nerd nod. Because what he did, there was a scene where Buffy hugs Angel. And when they pull apart from the hug, he has a burn mark of the cross on his chest. It's not signposted. There's no smoke coming off it. It's just a very, very small detail that you just see if you're looking for it, and you go, that's very, very nod to the lore. I don't know why it was that I loved that little moment, but it was really cool. So, yeah, especially like when they sort of pissed on so much of the lore in things like Hellstrom recently, just seeing some of those old tropes done in a way that was very clever. That was pretty good. A lot of it doesn't hold up. Obviously, there's a lot of references. The main guy in that show, he reminds me very much of like someone saw the first episode of Friends with Chandler Bing and said, how can we make the Diet Coke version of that character? Like, he's really irritating with how overtly kind of sarcastic he's trying to become all the time. You know, he's not necessarily doing the whole, could I be any more obvious? But he's not far off.
You're talking about Xander.
Xander, that's the guy, yeah. I don't find him an incredibly endearing character, where I might have then, but I guess because there's so many versions of that character, they're mainly female now when they do that character. Have you noticed that? I think that chicks can play that a lot better than guys can. And I think that Matthew Perry was probably a very good exception, that he was very likable as that, as Chandler Bing.
Well, one of the things I've always felt about the show itself, because I've seen the whole thing like front to back, right? Okay. I always felt that season 1 was the roughest in the sense that they still hadn't quite figured out what they were going to do with it.
100%
correct. High schooly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it isn't until season 2 where they get their stride a little bit more, and it turns from like it's a high school thing or whatever to more like the whole Buffy Vampire Slayer thing. So you I understand what you're saying, where it's like it feels like that Xander when he first comes in is like a little bit too like sarcastic, jokey thing, but he has a great arc throughout the rest of the series. So.
Yeah, because he's not likable. Because I obviously like Alison Hannigan because I've watched a lot of things that she's done, and like with just how ignorant he is of like her feelings. You know what I mean? Like you kind of go, "You're a dick," Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure it gets better because everyone like talks about how much they love it. So that's going to be my little nerd side project as far as what to watch. Is that if there's not really anything new that I must watch this week, I'll probably get through that and see how we go. Let me ask you this: if I do that and I like it, is Angel worth going into? I've heard some people say Angel is arguably a better or as good series as Buffy.
I think it depends on what you feel about what you like about Buffy, right?
Okay.
If you really just want to get more into that kind of lore or universe or whatever, then I think going into Angel. But if it's something about the dynamic of that team, of those actors and those characters that you prefer, then I don't know if Angel's going to keep drawing that. Angel's a continuation in a way, so there is more to some of the characters that show up in Buffy. So they go on into Angel and do more stuff. So like for me personally, I liked Angel. Again, first season was a little harder to get into. They made some cast changes. Unfortunately, they were forced to make some cast changes into season 2. And then it kind of got better. And then they never got a chance to really truly finish it. So that kind of shows up in the end.
Right.
So it's left on a because I think they knew they were gonna they didn't get renewed or whatever. So that last season was kind of like really rushed, and it didn't end as cleanly as I think Buffy does. It's not quite Firefly level of chopped off, but
I feel you. If it's got as much Charisma Carpenter and tight outfits, I'm on board because that chick, I forgot how hot she was/is. Good Lord.
Oh God. Okay. If you're all into Charisma Carpenter, then yes, you need to watch Angel.
Boom. Done. Yeah, that chick is hot, man.
So let me ask you, which one should I watch? If I was to watch one, I'm sure I won't watch either. But Buffy or Supernatural?
Supernatural.
Because they're kind of in the same genre.
For me,
Supernatural.
I haven't seen all of Buffy yet, so you have to ask Hooch there.
Yeah, and I've not seen Supernatural, so I naturally more lean towards Buffy. But I mean, Supernatural's a longer run. Let's put it to you that way. So
yeah, and that works both ways. Like, there's definitely some episodes where you go, okay, that was fun as shit, and there's some episodes where you're like, this one sucks. Like, there are some episodes of Supernatural that are generally like average is being generous to the but some of them where they go real weird with it, especially when they lean into that shit. Fuck, man, that show can be good.
Do they have a musical episode in Supernatural?
Of course
Man,
they do.
I still have on my phone that version of "Carry On My Wayward Son" from the musical episode of Supernatural with the female chorus. That shit is haunting as fuck. I love it. Yeah, the rest of it's a bit weird. Yeah,
I will always say one of my favorite episodes of Buffy is Once More with Feeling. I don't know why that episode stuck with me, but I liked it. And then when I found out that Whedon spent the off season between the two seasons like learning how to write music, and he wrote the whole thing himself, it's just like, okay, that just elevated what he did there, despite Whedon eventually turning out to be kind of an a-hole. It's still, I mean, it just when I saw it and when I learned what he did, it just gave me a greater appreciation of it.
Now, this is actually, so we haven't really covered that story. So, I mean, why not while we're here? What do you think about that whole thing with Cyborg versus Whedon?
Well, Ray Fisher versus Joss Whedon. I've heard other stories of Whedon being, creepy and not cool. So I'm not shocked by it.
Just creepy or racist? Because that seems to be most of the allegations. Like, asking them to alter the color of his skin in post-production is a fucking phenomenal request.
Yeah, I mean, I've never actually really heard of him being like racist in the past, but I've heard things like, he had always fashioned himself as a feminist, and then a lot of women were like, yeah, buddy, no, you're full of crap. We know what you're like in, in private or whatever. You're
Right.
So to me, to go from that to being like, maybe he's a little kind of, I wouldn't say racist, but it opens the door to question other things,
Interesting.
So yeah, which sucks because I like the guy's work, It's kind of like when my 5-year-old started listening to Michael Jackson. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this,
I know, man. I watched that documentary too. I think I still don't believe those two dudes. That's me personally. That's my takeaway from it. I know it's controversial, but I don't buy it.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, for me, it was more like, okay, well, the music, we could celebrate the music or whatever, and then, although when you have a birthday party and the theme is Michael Jackson and you're inviting a bunch of kids to a Michael Jackson themed birthday party, that's a little cringy.
And look, don't get me wrong, I'll be the first one to deliberately wear some sort of costume that suggests very heavily that he was a pedophile, even though, for me, I don't necessarily subscribe to, that story. From that particular documentary, I will say that. I don't know a lot about the other allegations, but I think the idea of it is obviously very much fodder for conversation/comedy. Absolutely.
Yeah. Comedy especially,
Wasn't Chappelle talking about how he liked to
Oh, fuck. Yeah, that whole bit. That whole special, Sticks and Stones. Fuck me. If I didn't think he was the greatest comedian ever, that one special, I was like, you motherfucker. That was so well done because he did the whole, he pivoted from obviously that to R. Kelly to then, as he calls him, Juicy Smoulier.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you. I lost my shit when he said that because we all knew exactly who he was talking about before he started. Oh, my God.
Juicy.
The way he puts it out there, too, with the Jesse Smollett stuff where he role plays as the cop, going, no one believed this guy. It's just like, all right, so tell me what happened. It's like, okay, so it's 10 p.m. and you're going out for a walk and it's like 2 degrees Celsius outside and you're walking. Okay. And where are you going? Subway. Sandwiches? And then, oh, man. I could literally quote this word for word because I fucking love that bit. It is so smart. It is so
it is really
clever.
good, yeah.
I love the bit where he's talking about, and everybody in the black community was like, we didn't say shit.
Yeah.
We clearly knew he was not telling the truth. We're like, no.
Oh,
This
man. I'm going to watch that again
buddy.
today. I love that special so much. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Dave Chappelle, did you guys hear that Chappelle show's coming to Netflix?
I did. Made me so happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy access Chappelle show is 100% something the world needs in 2020.
100%, dude. I can't wait to rewatch every episode of that.
I could not think of a better year that I would want to see Chappelle and Neil Brennan reunite for Chappelle's show season 3. Could you imagine the fodder?
Yeah.
Apparently there was something, okay, like I don't know how true this is at all because it was in Reddit comment section.
Oh, God.
But there was someone was talking about how apparently there was I wasn't man enough to click the link that he gave, but apparently there was talks with Netflix and Dave Chappelle about starting the show back up again whenever they acquired the Netflix rights to stream it, or I'm sorry, the Comedy Central rights to stream it. And then someone said something in the developer room that rubbed Dave Chappelle the wrong way, and then that's what put the nail in the coffin as a no. So I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah. Take it
I saw the Letterman interview, which because and Letterman is such an underrated interviewer. Like I'm so glad he's doing that series on Netflix because he really gets to shine, And he said to him, look, I read an article once that one of the reasons you walked away from the Chappelle show is that when you were doing like a dress for one of the sketches, that you said someone laughed the wrong way. And he said that was when you knew that you had gone, too far in one direction. And he was saying, can you tell me what it was? And Chappelle would not say exactly what it was or how that person laughed.
But did confirm it was that was a scenario.
He said it was 100% a factor. So it seems to be that, I think that, because obviously he played so much with race in that.
Yeah,
that if you did hear someone laughing at it rather than with it, I can understand how you just go, fuck this. This is not what I'm here to do. Seriously, You go.
No, I mean, it could be a simple thing like, he has a joke that's in there, and all of a sudden, like, the part that's supposed to be funny, that's supposed to make you think, isn't the part that somebody's laughing at. It's the really uncomfortable part that you're supposed to go, ooh, and when somebody laughs, you're like, no, you've gone too far.
Yeah, that's a great point. And
and I think it's I was gonna say, I think it's also the are they laughing with you or laughing at you kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's like a part of it whenever it comes to the particular subjects that he's playing with. So yeah, I definitely think that there's a lot there. But
absolutely.
What is your favorite? I just have to know everyone's favorite Dave Chappelle skit. Like, what's your guys' favorite Dave Chappelle skit?
I would say the Black Blind Klansman.
Oh, Jesus.
Classic.
It's just, you know what I mean? It's just such a ridiculous but hilarious concept.
I like the racial draft was really good.
That was going to be mine.
That one was really good for me.
The other one is The Family that was called The N-Word. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That was honestly so fun. It was so funny. I lost my mind the first time I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many good skits, though. All the Rick James stuff was amazing, too.
Oh, man. Even now,
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
someone just goes, hey, man, can you make sure you take your shoes off if you sit on the couch? Just go, fuck your couch. You know what I mean? Like, just being able to say that, everyone knows exactly what it's from. Like, yeah, such a genius, dude.
Yeah. Apparently, he hates... No, sorry, I was just going to say, apparently he hates when because everyone always yells out, I'm Rick James, bitch, at him.
Oh, God.
Of course.
And he's done a couple of bits about that before, about how much he fucking hates that now. And he's just like walking down the street with his kids and someone saying, Rick James, bitch, to him. He's like, God damn.
You're like, I got my kids. Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the nerdy news, boys. So look, Mandalorian came out this week. We're not going to talk about it because it's only like in the last 48 hours. It's way too soon. Spoiler embargo is officially in place. If I see one of you on the Discord even close to a spoiler, I'm gonna delete it. Just believe it. All right. Now I didn't actually give you guys a link to this, but I want to talk to you about it because it's such an awesome idea. A new comic run came out this week. Mm-hmm. So you guys know that the Ninja Turtles were an offshoot of Daredevil, right?
I didn't.
No.
I know very little about them.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Ninja
The
Turtles.
Ninja Turtles are in the same universe as Daredevil originally.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. Really, check out the lore on it, where it all starts. It's really, really cool. Really, really fun.
Okay.
What they've done is they've brought out a new run of comics, and the concept is fucking awesome. It is Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin. And basically, you don't know which one it is. I'm not going to spoil it for you. All the turtles are dead except one. And he has all their weapons and is on a quest for vengeance.
Oh, wow.
Awesome idea, right?
Pretty fucking cool, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm trying to buy this right now because I saw the ad for this a couple of days ago. I'm like, what the fuck? How has this not been done before? This is a great idea. And the reason I threw it into the show notes while you were talking earlier, Hooch, is that it looks, from some of the artwork I've seen and some of the dialogue, it feels very Frank Miller-ish. It's not him, but it's got that vibe. And I'm like, dude, I'm in.
Yeah, that does sound really cool.
I'll send you guys the links after the show because I know I didn't give it to you beforehand. But when you talked about Frank Miller, I was like, shit, why am I not talking about this? Because I love Ninja Turtles and that idea of him. Yeah, apparently the first thing, without going too spoilery, is him basically, just going through and fucking up like a whole clan of foot soldiers. So
That's fucking cool, dude. That's such a good idea. That's
I want that game. I want Ghost of Tsushima as
for real.
Fucking, I want it to be Michelangelo. I really do. Because I want to see him from going from being the most sort of, carefree,
optimistic,
fun guy to just being so broken by the deaths of the brothers that he becomes just this alternate nightmare version of that. You know what I mean? So,
Chu just wants people to suffer in the in the world. Jesus.
No, because it's such a thing of story. Like, if you have had your brothers who you've done everything with, like you grew up with them, no one else in the world can relate to you because you are the only 4 mutant people that are turtles on the planet. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to find a mate. You're going to find they're the only things that you have. Splinter obviously died a long time ago, and now they got killed. Bro, like, that's a powerful story to tell, and I really hope they do it well.
100%.
So yeah, it is going to be I believe, a 5-episode run. So it's Kevin Eastman. It's done by IDW Publishing, and just looks sick, dude. It really does.
Nice. That's really cool.
So if you're a comic fan and Ninja Turtles fan, definitely check that out. And yeah, for you boys, I definitely recommend looking at the sources of Ninja Turtles, because it's really interesting to see how that all came about.
Yeah, I'm not even a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like fan. Like that was like before me.
Mm-hmm.
But just like I know obviously the concept, and I saw the tragedy of the fucking movie that they made too.
Wait, which movie?
Yeah,
the most recent live action one,
Fox,
which I think they're doing another one on too, or something like that.
Well, I'm not surprised.
I don't know
they
if
were doing a
that's
sequel on
true.
it.
They did make money. Like, I mean, they did make money, because that's Michael Bay as well, right?
Yeah.
Fuck that kid.
But that's just such a cool story that like I actually do want to see it.
Why is Michael Bay shitting on my childhood?
I know, right? Transformers, now Ninja Turtles.
Transformers, exactly. It's like, dude. I mean, and then somebody else fucked up G.I. Joe. I'm like, come on, man. If anybody touches Thundercats, and messes that up, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, they're gonna do it like the Cats show that came out this year, the Cats movie. They're gonna make Thundercats like that. How do you feel, Hooch?
God, no.
That's the Michael Bay version right there. Over CGI'd garbage where it's got like 3D cat sphincter. Yeah.
Oh Jesus, no! No.
Speaking of things that are in a fucked up universe, Rick and Morty, they're putting, which was in 2 separate parts, season 4, when they first released it. It is now being put together as one collection and is going to HBO Max this week, November 1st. On the back of that, we saw some interviews with Dan Harmon. He said season 5 is very, very close, possibly by end of the year, which has still got my dick hard. Like, if that's true. And then they've almost finished writing season 6. Apparently, they're one of the few series that's been affected by Corona pushbacks, which I guess makes sense for animation. Like, you can kind of do that anywhere. So they're actually ahead of the game. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I was looking at that article, and I mean, it was interesting to hear Harmon talk about, they've actually been able to, buckle down during the work from home period where you don't have those distractions, and they're able to push out stuff faster, write faster, get stuff done quicker. Like, I mean, you see that a lot in the business world, like kind of nowadays, where you don't have the distractions of like the commute and some of the other stuff that goes on that keep people from being as productive as they can be. When you're at home, like that transition from like home life to work life and then back to home life can be like really quick and abrupt, but like there's no loss time. So you can either extend the work time a little bit longer if you need to, and then make up for it by being, again, more productive. So it's nice to hear that they're ready to go, and that it's coming out. And I'm super excited to hear that it's coming to HBO Max. As I mentioned before, I'm a Warner Brothers employee, so I get HBO Max for free.
Bastard.
I will say, with this, like and as far as working from home, like I'm not surprised, because I think like once we kind of overcame the like infrastructure issue with working from home for a lot of companies, like once we kind of like went over that hurdle, I feel like it is a lot easier to be productive from home for the exact reason that you said. So I'm not super surprised by that at all. I can't wait for this to happen
as well. Like the issue is when you have like so many hands on deck. Like I've said to you before, if I lived in the US, like we would have some sort of web series by now, like something that would actually be scripted with jokes, maybe like, small skit type stuff. Like I've wanted to do that kind of shit forever, but I never seem to find people that are in the same town as me to do this shit with. Every time.
Yeah.
I have ideas, and it's like, I need someone to film me. I need someone to play off of, all that sort of stuff. So we'll get it done one day. Now, in what the fuck news of things that didn't need to be rebooted this year is... Now, this is a question for Hebrew. Maybe I'll get the soundboard ready. Saved by the Bell.
No.
Haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, Lord.
I know it. I like know of it like super lightly, but I've never seen it. Like,
such a preppy.
I just know that like that one dude, because I saw like on Biggest Loser, like celebrity, like this was like 15 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
You talking about
like,
Dustin Diamond?
Yeah.
Oh,
like
shit. Didn't he
he's
go
like
into
a porn star
as well?
or something like that?
Yeah. What's his name?
Yeah. Like that's how I knew him.
Screech.
Yeah.
Screech. That's Screech.
I just remember in the Biggest Loser thing, he kept talking about his dick all the time. And I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
He would have been, I reckon he would have had an OnlyFans before OnlyFans existed.
Oh god.
Yeah, I would from how he acted and shit like that. I 100% think that is the case.
Yeah. So
things did not go well for him after that show.
They did not. So they are rebooting it, and they're also doing one of those things which, God, it very rarely works out, where they're keeping a lot of the original cast, but as they are now. So, like, one of them's back to the school as a teacher.
Yeah.
One of them's a counselor. One of them is the governor of the state. And you just go, I saw the trailer. I mean, how did you feel after watching the trailer, Hooch?
I just kept asking myself why.
Yeah. I think that's the real question. Like, I mean, I don't think it was the greatest TV show of its time, but it was certainly like breaking the fourth wall with the character of Zach and some of the dynamics between it, and launching pad for some of those actresses as well. Not so much the actors, except for, what's the guy's name? Is it Mario Lopez?
Yeah, Mario Lopez.
Mario Lopez, yeah. He's probably the only one that really sort of kicked on. So, yeah, I don't really think there was much of a need, but the fact they're trying to go for that authentic sort of 90s feel, even though they're doing it in the current time, I don't know that it works. I think that we're a much more sort of cynical society now, especially teenagers.
Yeah, I mean, they're still doing that whole cliquey kind of thing. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but you're right. It still has that feel of like they're trying to bring back what, like, I don't know. I just not feeling it personally.
No.
It gave me the vibe of like I like shows and movies that are self-aware, like whenever they're doing like particularly ridiculous things, be it for one reason or another. But this show has it has the stench of too obviously trying to be self-aware. Does that make sense? Like, if you're trying to be self-aware, you're subtle about it. This show is like, I feel like it was going off the rails trying to make sure that everyone knew that it was self-aware. It was really weird. So I got like strange vibes from it, like trying to be like, hey, we're cool, look, like we know what we're doing. And it's like I got I don't know, I just wasn't a fan of it, any of it at all. I thought that it was all like kind of cringy whenever I was watching it. So I'll watch it for funsies, I guess, just to see how much of a bomb it is. But yeah, I'm not expecting anything.
You know, I feel like the only show, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Hebrew, the only show that's really nailed that vibe of like being self-aware, but in a way that's really well done, was Cobra Kai.
Yeah, definitely.
The only rebooted
that's the best
show
example.
That's really leaned into that was Cobra Kai. Everything else that's tried to come back and gone, like Fuller House, for example.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I feel that like this one for Peacock for Saved by the Bell is gonna be the same thing. I think it's gonna be uber cheese. Feel really out of date. Just like I want to see the season where Aunt Becky's in jail now. That's what I want to see.
Well, didn't she only get like
2 months? Her
2 months.
Her what do you call it? I was gonna say her season. That's not a fucking season. Her what do you call it? Still in prison. Her sentence only just started this week.
Yeah, dude. I remember whenever I heard that she only got 2 months, I was like, wow, all of that like nonsense that happened, like all of that ridiculousnly for fucking 2 weeks.
Money talks,
like,
bro.
Dude, yeah, for real.
I was
just
going to
like,
reach out to you for a porn and politics episode the other day, actually.
Really?
Because I saw that this is... I'll leave this in. But yeah, there was a news article where a female teacher who slept with a 15-year-old student was given only a couple of months in jail versus another teacher at the school who was a male that sexually abused a female student was given like a decade in prison.
Yeah.
So, like, seeing those discrepancies. Anyway, that's a whole different podcast. That's not what
Dude, real quick, I have to say this because it still irks me to this fucking day.
You were raped by a teacher.
No. Did you ever see that movie that came out not too long ago with Jennifer Lopez where she was like a stripper?
Oh, yeah.
And it was based on the true story?
Yeah.
Dude, the fucking... All right, so they drugged people...
Yeah.
And like, committed fraud, right? To a mass scale.
Yeah.
They got fucking jail on weekends.
Yeah.
What?
Jail on weekends.
Yeah.
For like only
God.
what was it, like a year or something like that?
That is crazy.
Well,
like, I didn't even know that was a
apparently
fucking
admitted
thing.
to doing things very similar to that during her strip career.
What?
Oh, really?
Oh, she did?
Yeah, there was
Wait,
an interview
who?
where she got in quite a bit of trouble because they're like, did Cardi B just admit to a crime? That
Oh,
around
Cardi
the time,
B. Yeah.
around the time that came out.
I remember that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, because she was like, yeah, we did that shit all the time. And
Damn.
That's
yeah.
it. In completely unrelated news, Hebrew, you like anime?
Yes.
Do you like Pacific Rim?
No.
Didn't like it
What?
or haven't seen it?
Oh, I've seen
Good
I've seen
question.
them both. I've seen Pacific Rim 1 and 2.
Didn't like it?
Let me put it to you this way. Like, I like the concept of them.
Okay.
You know, giant mechs fighting, you know, monsters. Like, that's fucking sick. But I think the first movie was literally the most horribly acted movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, challenge accepted. I will send you a list of movies that I've seen this year alone that have had worse acting than that.
There is nothing that has worse acting than that. That movie
yes, there
was
is. Yes, there fucking is.
such bad acting. I
yeah.
couldn't stand it, dude.
Oh my god.
No,
well,
there's
look,
way
you
worse.
might get your wish if you love the universe. They've just announced that in 2021 we're going to be seeing a Pacific Rim anime series. I think that world is really interesting. That universe is kind of cool, and I think that might be something I'll check out as an anime.
Yeah.
I think the only issue I have with that is like you have to get bigger and bigger, like of the what are they called?
That's right. Yeah, the Jaegers of the fuck, what are those
Yeah.
things called? I mean, don't get me wrong, they're forgettable movies. Obviously, yeah, I can't remember what they're called. Let's say
Yeah,
not
I can't
Godzilla.
not kaiju.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
it, kaiju. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, they're called kaiju. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So you have to get bigger and bigger kaiju, you know, after a while,
Yeah.
right? When you
Scalability,
is it like
yeah.
one season, the scalability is a problem when you come up with something like that.
Yeah.
But is it one season? Is it multiple seasons? You know, whatever it's going to be, you kind of have to have like an end game in a way, right? You just can't keep throwing bigger and bigger stuff out there because then you got like Dragon Ball Z where you're like, hey, you're Super Saiyan. No, now you're Super Saiyan. Now you're Super like, yeah, okay, you just ratchet
Now
the
it's
power
Super
level up way
Saiyan
too
God, and now it's Super Saiyan God.
much. It's just like, you're just throwing more shit out there because you didn't realize it was going to go this far.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, scalability is a big issue. I think they can work their way around it a bit because as long as they have like, you know, different. Well, I don't know that because I could see it getting monotonous pretty quick, actually. So yeah, we'll have to see how they do with it.
Now, this is actually a story close to home. Hebrew's dad has a new show coming out on Netflix.
That's right.
Called Midnight Sky. So you must be pretty proud of that.
Always proud of that, dude. My dad is my favorite actor, obviously. By the way, for anyone that doesn't know, this is a joke. Because
Sorry, I actually forgot the joke too. I should have said Hebrew's daddy is in this.
Yeah, that's actually yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Daddy, right? Okay.
Exactly.
My dad has been told several times now, and he does legitimately like look like quite a bit like George Clooney. So I wish I had that. I do not look like George Clooney. I wish I looked like George Clooney. But yeah, so we always joke. I don't remember how that started, but yeah, we always joke around that George Clooney's my daddy now. It's somehow got translated to that.
So Midnight Sky is a new movie coming to Netflix very soon, December 23rd. And it looks like a lot of sci-fi movies that have been done, but with a slightly different flavor. What was that one that McConaughey was in? It was Interstellar.
Yeah, Interstellar.
Fucking terrible movie.
So I don't know if you guys found that from the... Did you say
Really?
fucking terrible? What is wrong with you?
Fucking
Yeah, he just said it was
terrible
terrible.
movie.
Why?
What the
Did you not understand
Fucking
it?
terrible. No, it's because whenever they went through that one planet, in the atmosphere was frozen around them, and it like a piece of it fell down, which wasn't even physically possible.
Right. I mean, if you had said like the ending, I could kind of see how that could lose a lot of people.
The ending was also like, I think the ending was pretty dumb as well, but that part like irked me a lot whenever I saw that. And I was like, that literally isn't even possible. And that specific scene I'm talking about too also got ripped apart.
Oh, sure.
So like, I'm not the only one.
It's not a perfect movie, but like when I see the trailer for this Midnight Sky, all I can see is Interstellar. Like most of the concept is identical.
Oh yeah.
So the way they describe it is that this post-apocalyptic tale follows Augustine, which is played by Hebrew's daddy, a lonely scientist in the Arctic as he races to stop Sully, which is Felicity Jones, who, if I'm correct, that's the main actress from Rogue One, right?
You are
Yep.
correct.
Yeah, major acting chops on that later.
Mm-hmm.
So, and her fellow astronauts
yeah.
from returning home to Earth, where a mysterious global catastrophe has taken place. Now, Clooney is actually directing this one, and I didn't realize that it was a novel called Good Morning Midnight. So, yeah, the idea is that basically, people left Earth looking for a better home, and for some reason, they're now coming back, and they have to get out a message saying, don't. Because it must be like the last colonists of humanity are on basically that ship. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think of the trailer?
Yeah.
I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it does. But does this trailer take place in 2024? Like, are we seeing people out
Fuck.
in there like,
The way
"Don't
it's
come
happening,
back."
depending on what happens with your election, this could happen between November 3rd and February 1st. I mean, who the fuck knows with what you guys are up to? I mean, you tell Trump that he's getting fired, that motherfucker's going to push a red button for sure.
Oh, can somebody?
You can't fire me, I'll fire you.
If he loses, one of the newspaper headlines has to be "You're fired."
All
yeah.
of them will
It just
be.
has to be.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh God.
And you just
For
know
sure.
that he's going to hate he's going to watch them all of like when he gets fired. Well, look, you watch it, that fucker will win, and then the world just falls apart. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see how shit goes whenever he's out of his like premium spot of presidency, where he
Let's
doesn't
save
have
this for
that.
a porn of politics. We should do it. We should redo an election special because it's been such a long time. Let's do an election special porn of politics, shall we? Because there's so much to talk about
you're
right now. Yeah,
You're right.
Who should come for that ride? I feel for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be there.
Boom. So yeah, it looks interesting. I think it's. I'm gonna watch it. I think it's gonna be more drama than sci-fi though, which I'm like, American.
Well, if things go poorly,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If things go poorly, I may join you in Dubai.
There you go.
Because the Middle East is definitely stable all the time.
Just fuck this shit. I'm out.
More stable than it would be here.
Yeah, quite possibly. American Gods. Did you guys read the book or watch the show at all?
Read the books? No, but you and I had this conversation a while ago with Spider, remember?
That's right.
And you guys convinced me to watch the show, and so I watched all the show, and I fucking loved it.
That's great, man.
I need to watch the show.
It really is good. Yeah, I mean, see, it's so fucking slow walking season 2 that I really hope they pick up the pace for season 3. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, season 2 was fine, but yeah, season 3 is on its way. On January 10th, we're going to see that. The trailer is on its way. So yeah, we got more American Gods, which is always a good thing. Now, this was a story that for me that was feel good all week. But see, the problem is, boys, I'm not as woke apparently as I should be. So I didn't know to be offended by this story until today, right? Oscar Isaac, who played Poe Dameron in the Star Wars movies, who was by far one of the great things about the last trilogy, one of the very few shining lights. So you're like, this guy is fucking rad, right? And so they're basically saying that he is the one that they are tapping at the moment. It's not officially locked in as far as I can tell to play Marvel's Moon Knight, or in other words, schizophrenic Batman.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw this and went, this is great news, because he is a hell of an actor. I think he's got range. I think that Moon Knight is such a complex, beloved character. You want someone that can kind of do a comedic turn, but be, dramatic in the right points and not overplay his hand. And I thought as an actor, perfect. So before I go into the second part of the story, what do you guys think about that casting?
I liked it
I
a
don't
lot.
have a problem with it.
Yeah, I like it a lot, actually. I loved him in Star Wars. I thought he was super underutilized, and he played a diminished role as, the last 2 movies went on.
Yeah.
But, I love him as an actor, though. I think he's done an amazing job. So I'm excited.
Even in X-Men Apocalypse?
I was going to bring that up, but yeah.
Wow.
That's
I forgot
not
about
his-
that.
That's not his fault. That's not his fault. I mean, you work with what you've got. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, Hebrew, apparently of the people on this podcast, you're supposed to be the one that's outraged today.
I am?
Everyone is kicking off deluxe that Moon Knight, as written in the comics, is Jewish, and Oscar Isaac is not.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're right.
Burn
It actually plays a bit into the story. Like, I mean, there is a lot of angles in there that he is very much like, a Jewish superhero, and there's like elements of his faith, a part of like the challenges and the struggles that he has internally. So it is going to be an important part of the storyline. But yeah, apparently because he's not Jewish, there's a lot of woke folks saying no, this cannot happen.
I don't understand that at all. I think that's super dumb.
So I mean, so they're just talking like Jewish as in, you know, Judaism, right? It's just the religious thing that.
Yeah.
So like, why couldn't he still be?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's.
We said this before, and I remember Scarlett Johansson got in a lot of shit for saying something very similar to this, and that was, isn't that the point of acting? To pretend to be something that you're not, and as long as you are representing it in a way that is true to what it is, whether it's someone of a different culture, a different religion, different sexuality, that they treat the subject matter with the respect that it deserves, why does it matter?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess to some people for representation, like I understand, but I mean, let's be real. There's not exactly a shortage of Jewish people in Hollywood.
For real. we run it all.
This seems like a weird hill to die on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Like, I understand you guys had a minute in the 1900s. Like, you know, well, actually, no. For thousands of years, you probably got the rough end of the stick. Let's be real, right?
Yeah.
No one is denying that for a second. But in this particular thing, for movie representation in superheroes, I don't know.
So here's the funny thing. Like, you have kind of like the opposite effect with the play Hamilton, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where you know, Lin-Manuel Miranda was questioned about, you know, hey, how come you have, you know, black actors playing characters that own slaves, you know? And he's like, look, I didn't even think of it like from a black-white perspective. I had a play that how I wanted to tell it, and I needed actors who could deliver it the way I wanted it to be delivered. And it just so happened that the actors who I found who could do everything I needed them to do were people of color.
And that's the thing. I think if you read between the lines of there, what he might as well have just turned around that interview and said is just like, have you heard most white people rap? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It wasn't like
it's not our strong.
It wasn't like he was going to send a
call
out.
Eminem is a standalone. He's a very individual beast. But most white people, myself included, when we
Lil
try
Dicky.
and rap, Little Dicky, definitely a great exceptional. Yeah, he is very good. Yeah, man, let's be real. Those guys are super talented in Hamilton, and they're there on their merit. Like, if it's about a meritocracy, I'm all on board. And we need to stop. Oh, God. Let's not go there. Another porn and politics episode.
Yeah.
But I mean, again,
this
is my thing this year of, can we stop ruining things that could bring some joy to people in the world because you're choosing to take offense to the nationality of someone, the religion of someone? Who's making it about race? Who's making it about religion? Who's doing this, right? We're not. You're not. But these individuals that are trying to fuck with, you know, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm all about representation, but when it's tokenistic and they're not like the best person for the job, they're put there because they are a specific thing, that sucks, dude.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, but you're right. It's like, I think the reason why people are getting so up in arms is because because meritocracy wasn't a thing beforehand.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
And now that they're screaming for it, when it happens, too many people are like, "Well, now you're not representing." Like, wait, you can't have it.
Yeah, I know.
You can't say.
You
can't say the best person
yeah.
for the job is only the person that matches that nationality or religion or whatever. You're like, no.
Plus, I do think
100%.
90% of it is just outrage culture in general. Like,
True.
like 80% of the population that's quote unquote outraged about it doesn't actually give a shit about it. They just want to be on the side of something.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my generation.
Yeah.
So,
Everyone's looking to be offended by something.
yeah. There you
100%,
go.
mate. I'm offended by offense. Does that count?
You can make it count.
Yeah, I will. I'm tired of
that
people
you're
being offended. It offends me at a level that is so deep. Anyways.
Get a Twitter and go at it. You'll build a following. You can do it.
Oh, God.
yeah,
I'll end up
you will.
as the Australian Ben Shapiro. That's how I'll be labeled if I come out with a comment like that, even though it could be further from the truth.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to pass this one to you, Hebrew, because I forgot to look into this one this week. Assassin's Creed has signed a Netflix deal.
Yeah, they have signed a Netflix deal, which is funny because I think we had mentioned like a little bit ago that whenever we were talking about like what shows, it was actually one of the questions from one of our listeners, and it was
That's
asking like which shows. I think one of us had mentioned Assassin's Creed. But yeah, so Netflix is doing a deal with Ubisoft to make Assassin's Creed series, and it's not just going to be one series. It's not just going to be two series. It's going to be three series. It's going to be one live action, one animation, and one anime. So yeah, we were talking a little bit about like behind the scenes. We were talking like a little bit about like what the storyline could be there. So like Hooch, you can go ahead and, since you were the first one to say it, tell us what you think is going to be happening there.
Yeah, well, first, before we go back to that, I was the one that asked the question about all of the different
well, look at that.
universes. So,
my
yeah,
bad.
there you go. Nice way to roll into that.
That was like, I think that was my favorite question so far. So good
Ooh,
for that.
Cool.
Because it got me to talk about the, keep going, because I already forgot the name of what I said
Okay.
originally.
Just
All
a
right.
great
Well, so
section
as we
of
talked about
podcast.
earlier, like when we first
Yep.
I mean, the idea, I like it, that they're going with like three separate ways to tell this Assassin's Creed story. And I think for me, it works best if they choose three different time
Absolutely.
periods for each one.
Mhm.
Yep.
If you have them in the same time period, it's kind of weird. But because Assassin's Creed is so embroiled within history across the world, it automatically just screams three different timelines,
Yeah.
different time periods.
I agree. I think it's the only way that they do it without it being weird. So I think they have to go with that. What do you think about it? Like them doing like three different styles rather than like one style at three different settings.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I think you have that chance to just do three like totally different kind of things, right? Because that's kind of what Assassin's Creed has done.
Mm-hmm.
With each of the games that they've released, they've given you kind of like a similar things, like the core gameplay and stuff. But then you know, when you have stuff like Assassin's Creed 3, where it's more Revolutionary War, Native American kind of thing. You know, it has that kind of vibe and feel to it. You've got 4 with the piratey thing. You know, so it definitely lends itself very well to being able to tell 3 separate stories in 3 different ways in 3 different time periods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a little worried about them like handling, considering 2 of them is going to be like one's animation and the other one's anime. Like, I'm a little bit worried about them handling that to make it actually good. It seems like so far Netflix exclusives on animes have not been very good. So we'll have to see how that one goes. But I do know that the concept of a live action one, like I kind of wish it was all live action just because they can do live action series well, at least. And yeah, the idea of a live action Assassin's Creed series is so fucking cool to me. It's orgasmic. It's fucking so good. So I wish that was the case, but it's not.
What if they flipped one and made it from the Templars' perspective?
I would love
Instead
that.
of-
That'd be like doing a Batman movie from the angle of like an average street thug. Do you know what I mean? Like there's this looming specter at any time. Like I'd love to see Batman as a horror movie.
Yeah. Well, they did. They actually did that with. I think it was one of the. I think it was like the PSP game or something like that. Like it was like a smaller game, but it was one of them that they had, and you actually were I'm pretty sure you were a Templar in that one, and it showed the other side of it in that game, and it was actually like it made you kind of realize like there is another side of the story, and it isn't as black as white as it looks. So yeah, they definitely could do that. I think that'd be super fucking cool.
Those are usually the best stories where you have like you're presented from one angle, like everything is this way, and this group or people or whatever are set up to be like the antagonists, and then when you finally dig into who they are, you realize that maybe they have something here. That's again, like you look at Black Panther with Killmonger. That was one of the biggest draws about that character, because like fundamentally he was right, he just was going about it the wrong way.
Right. The this is a funny example, but it is like a straight up great example though. Did you guys ever see that movie? I think it was like Chuck and Dale versus Evil.
Versus Evil. Yep.
Yeah, like that's a great version of that, because it's from like they were the ones perceived as like the monsters in the woods that are trying to kill all these college kids, when they were actually the nice ones, and it was reversed. So I think like stories like that are always fucking cool to see. So yeah.
You kind of have a similar thing with the original story for what became I Am Legend.
Oh yeah,
Because that I think the book and initially the story was the reason why he was the legend was because he was like the boogeyman for like the vampires or whatever, and he was the one like murdering them. So so that's again, you shift that perspective a little bit, and someone's story can easily go from being the villain to the hero and vice versa.
I was so young when that came out that like I'd never even thought about that, but yeah, that actually makes it way cooler because now I understand where they're coming from with that. The I Am Legend, like the actual title, that's fucking cool as shit.
Well, this is one of those nerdy moments where I'm going to tell you you need to read the book.
Why is that?
Because it is 100% better than the movie.
I thought the movie. I never watched it again since I originally saw it. Granted, but like I thought the movie was really good.
It was definitely one of Will Smith's better recent performances. I'll definitely give you that. But I mean, when you know the original story, like Hooch said, because you know they shot 2 endings for that. Like you can actually watch 2 endings right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So one of them leans into what Hooch is talking about, which is it kind of shows that they are more than just these zombie things. Like he's realizing that as he kind of, resigns himself to what's about to happen. Because one he dies, one he doesn't in the different endings.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't even remember which one was canon, like in the movie now, but
in the movie, the one where he dies, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Wasn't there like something where he, like the main one that was chasing him or something like that? Like, I guess that's what you were referring to. Like, they kind of have like a conversation or something like that.
It's about the partner of the one of the sort of the bigger bad guy. Finds out that the zombie that not the zombie, vampire, whatever you want to call it, the one that they've had sort of captured that was injured that they're trying to treat is actually like the mate, if you will, of the leader of these things. So yeah,
that's right. Okay.
Yeah, definitely worth reading the original book though, for sure.
Okay.
All right, Battlestar Galactica. Did you ever get into it, Hooch?
Oh God, yeah, loved Battlestar Galactica. I came into it late. I didn't actually watch it when it was airing, which was good because that would have pissed me off to have to go through and wait for all that stuff.
I did.
So, I think I take that back. I caught up with it while it was airing. So then I did finally have to reach a point where I had to wait for it to come out.
Well, it was a big event back then. Like the countdown to the final 5. Like who were the last Cylons going to be? And then the subsequent and then subsequent disappointment in some of those decisions. You're like, yeah. Well, that was great. I mean, the miniseries, especially for Battlestar Galactica reboot, was incredible, and that's why it's so surprising when they did this version of it so goddamn well that they're redoing it again, but not only once but twice. And I do not understand this. So when I see Battlestar Galactica in the news, I'm like always excited. And then I saw that they're doing a Battlestar movie. I'm like, okay, there might be a story to tell there. You can't tell the same story because there's no way you could do that in 2 hours. It is not going to fucking happen. A trilogy, maybe, but it's such a complex storyline. And then my gut vibe got even worse because the guy that intends on writing and producing this movie, have a listen to some of his credits, guys. X-Men New Mutants. X-Men Last Stand. Does that inspire you with some confidence?
Nope.
How does fuck no sound?
No.
Oh God! When I saw this guy's name on it, I actually wrote this in the show notes. I was like, oh fuck! Like it is. Yeah, I'm not thrilled about that. But then I saw the NBC, who seems to be throwing money at this Peacock streaming service. They want this to be a thing. So they get Saved by the Bell. So far, not good. But they've got the rights to a Battlestar Galactica series on the Peacock streaming service, which is going to be done by the guy who created Mr. Robot. Now that does excite me.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see, because I'm assuming that neither of these two companies are talking to each other. I can't believe that the rights have been sold in 2 different places.
Yeah.
Maybe it has. I don't know. It's such a weird story that there's a movie and a TV series being worked on at the same time. I guess it's kind of the same thing happened with Dark Tower, right? Like there was a TV series being talked about as that piece of shit movie, which we talked about way too many times, came about. Yeah.
I'm glad I did not see that movie.
So yeah, I don't know. I want to be excited about Battlestar Galactica coming back, but I don't. It feels too soon. Which I know, given that it ended like 8 years ago or maybe longer, it still feels too soon for a reboot.
I never watched it, so
Why am I not surprised?
yeah.
I mean, it is a great show.
It was one of those shows where it's like by the time I was interested in it, like age wise, I had too much to catch up on, so I was like,
It still holds
no.
up. You should watch it now.
You think?
Like honestly,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
do me a favor. Just watch the miniseries. Like it's only 3 episodes. It's like movie length. Honestly, I think if you like that, you'll love the show.
What about 33? I think you should also watch 33.
The very first episode.
Yes.
Yeah, I will admit that is a great episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, try that. Try the miniseries, which is basically like Battlestar Galactica, the movie. Like, it's going to sell you on the concept of... Because what I love about that one, Hooch, is it wasn't necessarily a reboot. It was a continuation. Like, they acknowledged that the older series was part of this universe.
Yep.
Which I think is really, really good. So, yeah, I just... And then the way that they flipped some of the gender roles as well, like, it made sense. Like, Starbuck, I mean, that actress, I can never remember her name. She smashed it. She was so
Katie
good.
Sackhoff.
Oh, of course, it's Katie Sackhoff. Yeah. So no, it's all good things for sure. Now, speaking of anime from earlier, again, big anime episode. This one, Sony, who apparently we've been surprised that they've been making no moves in the console war. We're like, what the fuck, man? Like it's Microsoft. It's just destroying. We're like, what the fuck is Sony doing? And it turns out they're trying to appeal to you, Hebrew, because they are right now going through all sorts of hoops to make sure they can do it in a way that doesn't break any laws or anything with, not monopolies, but in that ballpark. Now, they're trying to buy Crunchyroll. So for those that aren't anime geeks like yourself, tell us a little bit about what Crunchyroll is.
So Crunchyroll is a streaming service that has exclusively animes on it. It has an incredible library of animes, including anime movies as well. It's really good. It's like known to be like, if you want to see an anime, it's going to be on Crunchyroll. It's like the go-to anime streaming service. So it's really nice to have. I myself have a subscription to it for obvious reasons. But yeah, this is, I mean, like, I don't know if this is the way to win, like, you know, the console war or anything. Like, I would not be making this move right now.
Yeah.
But, like, it's a move, I guess. I mean, like, it's definitely, like, a growing, like, anime is becoming very large over here now. Like, Netflix has already talked about how they're going to vastly expand over, this was an article that came out just, like, I think like 5 days ago or so. But Netflix is coming out and trying to vastly expand their Netflix original anime series and trying to do a whole bunch more of them. And they're getting some really, really good writers from some previous series to do it. So I am super excited about that because so far, like, it's been kind of lame as far as Netflix's versions. And Amazon's also doing the same thing. So like anime is becoming much more popular, and we're seeing anime being brought into the movie light a little bit more, thanks to whatchamacallit, like the most recent one, which was actually like really, really good, Battle Angel Alita. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah,
Alita Battle Angel.
That was Cameron did that, and he wanted to have a trilogy, but because that movie bombed versus how much it cost, apparently we're not going to get it, which does suck because that movie, I don't think it's as much of a graphical leap as, like, say, it was from pre-Avatar to Avatar. Like, Avatar changed the game in a way that, you know, there's no going back now. But I think that what they did in Alita should not be underestimated, because it was kind of, if you... what's a good example here? Who Framed Roger Rabbit? The way that they interacted, cartoon characters with actors, it wasn't flawless, but it was definitely done in a way where you can go, okay, we can tell cartoon stories in movies and it'll work. And Space Jam came off the back of that and, you know, created a whole thing. That movie, for me, was so defining and so exciting for me because you could see that they can make animes now. They can absolutely make so close to, like, you know, combining real actors with mocap in a way that you won't, you know, have to suspend disbelief because it just looks and feels so authentic. Like, it was unbelievable how they did Alita in that show. It was flawless. It really was. And I really feel bad that didn't get the attention it deserved.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. Like that's kind of what I was referring to. Like, there's the good thing and bad thing. Like, it is legitimately like a great movie, and the fidelity was there. And just as you said, that was the biggest thing for it, was that it proved that even though it didn't do so well in theaters, that transition, the translation there between movie and anime, it can be done. I don't think it's super cost effective yet, which I think was one of the issues, but yeah, it's definitely there. So I think it's, like I said, it's not the smartest move I think that they would have done. Like, it's not going to win them anything like big, but it's definitely something. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that.
Well, then, does that mean, do we see Hollywood take a stab at something like Full Metal Alchemist?
I would fucking love it.
Shit.
Attack on Titan?
I mean, that's the thing.
Attack on Titan. That's brutal though. Fucking very brutal in some of those episodes,
right?
Yeah, but it's absolutely amazing. But I think that this is the key thing here, and this is why I think this is going to explode within the next I don't think anything in the next 3, 4, 5 years even, but even 5 more years after that, I think it's going to start to be big, because we're already running out of things to make movie wise. You can see that by how many sequels or reboots we have going on right now. There is an entire untapped market of animes to dig into that have better narratives than 90% of the things that we see churned out now. So it's just a matter of time until those are taken to the next step. And so now that we're seeing all of these things kind of become more successful and become more mainstream, we're gonna see that tapped into several places.
Can I get a live action Ranma 1/2 while we're at it?
A what?
What was you say?
A live action Ranma 1/2 while we're at it?
I've never seen that one.
That would be. Oh, okay. So back when I was in high school, a buddy of mine introduced me to a game called Ranma 1/2, and he told me the story behind the manga / anime, and the whole thing is about, it centers around a guy and his father, who, when they get doused in cold water, the guy turns into a girl, and his father turns into a giant panda.
Right. I have never heard. That's crazy.
And then when they get doused with hot water, they change back.
That's nuts. I've never seen that. It's nuts.
It is nuts, because we're playing this game, and he goes, "Oh yeah, and this guy turns into this, and this person turns into that," and this. I'm like, "What the hell is going on here?" And then I saw the anime, and I'm like, "Oh, now I get it.
Yeah,
okay.
Now it makes sense." But yeah, it's really, there's a lot of drama in there, because Ranma is the name of the main character, and he is he's been promised to marry his father's dojo buddy, one of his daughters, right? And it's it's about the dynamic between these two and all the crap that they have to go through. And again, I watched, I think, the entire thing that they had available on VHS. For those kids who don't know, it's this little small plastic thing you used to put in. exactly. But yeah, no, I owned the whole thing once at one point on VHS and partially on DVD when that switch over happened. But I loved the show, and as you said, you're talking about something that there's a real big story there that I think might appeal to some people, or of course we can always go with Hebrews One Punch Man.
Yeah, that would make the best movie ever. So yeah, that'd be fine with me too. But no,
it was a cartoon when I was a kid. I want to say it was called, in Australia, I think it was called Robotech. I might be wrong about this. And the main character was a guy who had a little crystal and had to go in a sarcophagus type thing, and then he'd turn into this gangster Gundam style thing. Is that Robotech, or is that something else?
No,
Robo something.
Yeah, it's something else. Robotech was let's see if I can describe Robotech. It's about Earth, and they found this big, huge ship that just came from out of nowhere or whatever, and it turns out that there's an alien race looking for it. Yeah, it's just a whole thing, and it had different types of series within Robotech, but the whole thing was about man and machine and stuff like that. So it was good. It was one of the shows that I watched growing up. I'd say it was on TV when I was 10.
Fuck, what am I doing? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I do not.
the more the guy used the suit, like he was slowly dying and stuff. Fuck, I'm going to have to look this up. See, anime is my weak point as a nerd. We've talked about this before. But yeah, I'm going to try and find the name of this because chances are, like, you know how sometimes when they regionalize things, they completely change the name because, like, you know, some dickhead in Australia called it Robotech, and now they called it, you know, Bob's Robot Adventures or something. Like, this always happens. We're like, do you remember this show? And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? That sounds like this. And you go, yeah, it's the same thing. But we have a shit name for it. Like, Burger King is Hungry Jack's. Same shit.
Yeah.
It sounds familiar. I just can't place the name of it right now.
I will track it down. I will figure this out, and I will let you know.
Sounds good.
All right. Now, whenever you're talking about anime, let's face it, someone always goes, what about hentai, though? You into tentacles, bro? So this is actually a great segue to come because my people, the Australians, fucking conservative in ways that has often impacted nerds heavily. So we had to fight to get an R-rated video game system, even though we had R ratings for movies, like R18 plus. We never had anything for video games. So what would happen is if anything had extensive violence or sexualized scenes or drug use, they would just ban it. So it took us years to get that. We missed out on so much content. It was like a running joke. We talked about the South Park thing a few weeks ago. What they have decided to do this week in Australia is to officially ban hentai porn in Australia.
Weird move. Super
especially during a
weird move.
pandemic. Like, they had people locked up in Melbourne for 100-something days. Like, you're going to run out of stuff to jerk off to in the mainstream at some point, right? And then you go, well, let me have a look at some international options, right? And so I don't know why the fuck this is now of all the timings. And they've just gone, yeah, that seems like a thing we're going to do. It's such
Maybe that was it.
It's such a weird choice.
It almost seemed like they were looking for something to do. And it's like, fuck, we're not really doing anything right now. What should we do?
So they're saying that the reason they're banning it, right, is that what was happening is that some dickhead politician claims he walked into a comic store and his daughter picked up from the anime section like a hardcore hentai. And it's like, well, that seems like that store owner, if that's true, is very irresponsible.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think it is true. I reckon he probably picked up like Pokemon, just gone, I don't like the way Misty's animated. You know?
Yeah.
I'm
He
sure it was
probably bought it himself.
Yeah, he got a boner, didn't know how to feel about it, realized he's a pedophile and just gone, I need to make sure that no one else feels like this because Jesus told me to. Yeah, it's going to be one of those fuckhead things.
Yeah.
So,
Or like he bought it and his wife caught him and he's like, oh, the kid grabbed it. I don't know where this came from.
Yeah.
yeah, 100%. That's exactly what happened. So this actually leads into an interesting thing with Australia's history with pornography, right? So I'll give you a bit of fun facts here. X-rated pornography has been banned in Australia for decades. Yet if you walk into any adult store, any sex, device store, whatever, you will see wall to wall of like DVDs, Blu-rays, magazines, you name it, right? It's all there. And one of my family friends ended up working in a sex store for a while. And honestly, some of the greatest stories I've ever heard are from her time as an employee of that store.
I'm
That's
sure,
the whole
yeah.
episode in itself. Fucking amazing.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But she was saying that like what they do is that they know it's illegal to have it, but it's not jailable. And what happens is there's a fine for stocking those type of products. So they build into the overheads of running their store, knowing that some months they're going to get inspected and they're going to have to pay the fine, and they already know how much the fine's going to be. So they put it in as a forecasted operating expense, right? It's an amazing thing that it's illegal, not supposed to be there, yet it's everywhere, right? Not that anyone buys DVD porn these days, I would imagine. I mean, I don't know. Maybe someone likes to kick it old school. Maybe like for diehard porn fans, like that's their version of vinyl. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Right? Maybe.
Oh, man.
So, look, I don't know. It's such a weird thing. Maybe that's what's going to happen. They're going to say, okay, any stores that have this, they're going to have to pay a fine or whatever, or whether it's officially banned. I don't know. It just seems like Australia is such a dumb country that we keep on electing these conservative fuckwits that just go, anything that I don't understand gets banned, whether it's video games, and it's usually nerds at the forefront. Like every time someone shoots up something in America, some wanker Australian politician goes, well, this is what happens when kids play Call of Duty because they're desensitized to violence, that they're going to go around and shoot everyone. It's like, no, that's not even fucking true, you moron. So yeah, this is just another case of I don't understand it, therefore I'm going to ban it. Even though I found it super easy to jerk off to, I'm offended by it. So yeah.
That's pretty much how it's working, it looks like. Yeah.
Mass shootings are what happens when you have a country with more guns than people in it.
Yeah. There you go. How about that for a statistic?
Yeah. Crazy, dude. Crazy. All right, now.
And you can shoot somebody up all you want in a movie, but don't show a titty. Do not show a titty.
There are lines.
They need to watch that clip from Wolfenstein that I sent you. It's got guns and titties.
True.
All right. Now, this is a weird crossover. We're actually going to bridge the end of our nerdy news segment and the start of our gaming news segment with a combined fuckwit of the week, right? Mm-hmm. I couldn't decide who is the bigger fuckwit this week, so it's a tie. Now, we still need a name for this segment, guys. Please write in. Fuckwit is just an Australian term that we give to someone who is genuinely a fuckwit. If you've got a better name for what this is, head on over to Alternerd Reality Discord, ANR. Was it discord.me/ANR? I always forget this. And let us know, because we'd love to name this something. It wasn't going to be a continuing thing, but it just seems to be in that nerdy sphere. There's always like someone that just shines as a genuine fuckwit.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes though the first option is the best option. Right?
We'll see how we go.
I mean, these guys are fuckwits.
Yeah, we'll need a sting for this as well. Yeah, it'll just be, wow, what a fuckwit, Anyway, we'll figure it out. So in the general nerdy sphere, the fuckwit of the week is none other than Vincent K. McMahon of the WWE. So what was happening, especially during the coronavirus downtime, a lot of these wrestlers who are treated such like shit. I don't know if you guys ever watched John Oliver's episode of Last Week Tonight, where he did the deep dive into the WWE.
I haven't seen that one.
I haven't.
Okay.
No, but I mean, as an old fan, I know how shitty it is.
Oh, he's an absolute prick, right? So, I mean, yes, he's brought us, some of the greatest eras of wrestling ever, but let's face it, that was on the backs of people who are now broken and in many cases dead. Because one of the things that he does, Hebrew, is very similar to Uber. He has always written their contracts that they're not technically employees of the WWE. So when they get injured, which is all the fucking time, he doesn't have to pay them a cent. And when they miss work time, he doesn't have to pay them.
Wow, I didn't think that they did that over there. That's some bullshit, dude.
Genuine C-bomb, for sure, right?
Fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, the reason he's in the news this week is because earlier in October, the WWE, especially Vince, came out saying that they were really uncomfortable with the fact that during COVID especially, because a lot of wrestlers are actually gamers. Like a couple of the guys from New Day, I can't remember. I think Cody Rhodes might be a bit of a gamer as well. But Paige, the one that they did the movie about that The Rock funded, or The Rock was in, so the British superstar, she is a hell of a Twitch streamer, right? She's been into it for a long time. So they were concerned with like how these guys were off, basically getting their own fans and building their own secondary income through third parties like Twitch. So in October, there was these rumblings that the superstars had been spoken to saying, hey, look, you guys have built fan bases and monetization off of us. We made you who you are. That's our money, not yours. So what's going to happen is we are going to take over your social media accounts. And everyone just said, well, that's not going to happen. There's no way they can enforce that. So there was a Twitch stream this week that had Paige. I think her real name's Soraya. She was midstream, and apparently she was getting messages from WWE basically saying, get off. You need to hand this over. It is not yours to do. And she basically reacted, like saying, I cannot fucking deal with this company anymore. I've literally broken my neck twice for these assholes. And during COVID, I can't wrestle anymore. My body is too broken. And I've built this with you guys, and now they want to take this away from me. It's a hell of a story that like he's basically saying the only reason you're successful is because of me and my brand, and you need to hand over any potential income that you're getting from this. Fuck you, fuck your mental health, fuck you and your community. We want it all back. It's such a fuckwit move. Like it definitely lives up to the title this week. Vincent K. McMahon, you sir are a fuckwit.
Absolutely.
Unless you want to sponsor the show, in which case, love your stuff.
I fully agree with you. That's some absolute bullshit, and I think that right now, especially, like they're struggling And so they're trying any way they can to get something. And I think that this is it. And it's not like, I can't imagine this actually holding up as something that works, because especially if they're just contracted, like that's got to be so flimsy. So,
well, that's the thing. Like this is one of the things that got exposed in that thing with John Oliver. That like he really exposed how ironclad these contracts are and how one-sided they are. It's basically, we're the only game in town in wrestling. Take the deal or fuck off. And that's why you've seen these two big spin-offs over the last couple of years with AEW and TNA, which I think AEW is a significantly better wrestling program than WWE is, except for the women's division. The women's division in WWE these days, fuck, those chicks are unbelievable. They are some of the most athletic, dynamic wrestlers I've seen in years, man. They are crushing it. They make the guys look like they're slow and old and phoning it in. Damn. They are unbelievable. And we were talking about Glow last week here, bro. Like, honestly, these ladies should get their own show. Like, they're just, for real. They are better than the WWE now. They really are. So.
Oh, wow.
For real, dude.
It's funny we wanted the WWE. My kids just like started getting really into it, but not really into like the current WWE. They just like keep watching old videos of John Cena and The Rock.
Yeah. Okay. Fruity Pebbles. Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly so they can beat up each other and have a justifiable reason for it.
Exactly. That's where it's at, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. So yeah, I think this is such a prick move. And as you say, I think I'm surely someone has protections for these people. Or, like, I mean, you know, Twitch has done a lot recently to, you know, take sides on certain things and start fact-checking things and protecting, you know, political people. I really hope that if they do this to this poor woman, that they basically, she goes, okay, well, you can have that account. But I hope someone at Twitch goes, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone that account and you can get a new one. And then you get all your subscribers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I hope someone comes through for her, because she was a phenomenally talented wrestler. She came through it the long way around. Like, she didn't come through, get a couple of pair of fakies and go, this is enough to carry me. She was a genuine wrestler. Honestly, she changed the women's division, Paige. So I got a lot of respect for that young lady.
I just don't even know what, like, the point of doing that. Like, I suppose that's a dangerous thing to do from their perspective, pissing her off like that, because at this point, yeah, she does have her own fan base. So you trying to do that to her, she is just going to move. She's going to start a new account. She's going to separate from you guys. She's going to start a new account, and the subs will follow her. And then you're going to have no relationship with her whatsoever. I feel like that's a very lose-lose scenario. So I'd be surprised if they really, really dig in on that.
And we see when the simps rise as well. Like she'll make probably 4 times the money she was making from Twitch. If they pull the trigger on this and she has to start from scratch, you watch a crusade come out of nowhere. Like a nerd crusade, especially when it comes to, you know, an attractive, fit female who has a personality on the internet. Good Lord. Yeah, prepare to
like Pokemon girl.
Star Citizen levels of Kickstarter funding.
Yeah.
So.
But she'll actually provide something for them in return, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a difference.
The void. Yeah.
Now, in gaming fuckwit news of the week, and this as I said, this was hard to choose between the two. So I said that it's going to be a tie for fuckwit of the week. Fuckwit of the week for the gaming news of the week, ladies and gents. It's us. It's gamers. You guys, all of us, we are the fuckwits this week.
There
all
we
of
go.
you.
Collectively.
Listen. Fucking listen. This is the chat we've been trying to have for a long time. Delays fucking happen. All right? You need to get off your own dick and understand that with things that happen with COVID, production schedules are going to get pushed back. That is not an excuse to reach out and issue death threats because a fucking video game got delayed. All right. Everyone wants to see Cyberpunk 2077. Of course, all of us were just like, man, with the asshole of a year that this year has been, and then how good CD Projekt Red games are, of course, we all wanted to play that back in February, then April, then October, then November, and now December. Of course, we're all disappointed by that. But these guys have been cursed by their transparency. They have shown every step of the production journey with us. They've shared more. So whenever anything differs from where they were headed, any plans change, the way that people are losing their mind now, and even with Halo, because obviously Halo is now being delayed again, and certain features are going to get cut from that game as well. They announced, basically saying, look, it's not going to be ready there on day one. We don't know if we're going to do it, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, mate, if you read, did you guys read the Twitter threads from the links I send you?
Yeah.
How fucking gross
ridiculous.
is it? Like, it's a very few times that I'm embarrassed to say that I'm a nerd or a gamer, but reading those comment threads, I was like, if this is our people, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. I mean, being in the gaming industry, I actually applaud developers who turn around and go, this isn't ready yet. We're going to push it back. And especially when it's super close to the original release date. Because too many times we've seen someone go, we cannot sacrifice that date. We need to push it out the door.
Do you remember the glory days of Blizzard? The glory days of Blizzard, where they were the company that always had the balls to say, it's ready when it's ready. It will be out when it is good enough to put our name on it. And I miss that Blizzard, right? And CD Projekt Red has those old school Blizzard vibes. You are 100% correct. I respect developers more, like we said about Larian Studios a couple of weeks ago. I said about these guys. I would much prefer they take the time to make it the game that it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, we get Avengers.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
100%. And then, then the monetization side of it gets fucked, and that counts as a bomb. And then all the guys that worked onto that game, they're the ones that get blamed because they're saying, well, you're the reason that it got screwed. And you got to remember the pressure that's on CD Projekt Red. Like, when international dignitaries go to that country and they're given a gift basket saying, these are the best things about our country, they get a copy of The Witcher, the book and the game. Did you know that?
Wow. I did not know that.
No,
because they are so happy and proud of that developer being one of the most famous developers on planet Earth these days because of the love. I mean, they did that game so well that people went looking for the books and definitely went to Netflix to watch the show. So there's so much pressure on this company to do everything right. Like, imagine being responsible to come up with something better than The Witcher.
Yeah.
Like, when your first real big series that takes off is The Witcher. And it's like, okay, bros, can you top that for me with a brand new IP? That'd be great. Cheers. Bye. Fuck you. Like, that's a tall order. And just, look, don't get me wrong. I get really bummed and probably overly, angry when a game doesn't live up to, whatever it could have been, should have been, because of obviously the love for the subject matter. But we always try and do it in a way where you go like, okay, but where'd they come from? And it's like, well, what caused this? Was it developers that just didn't give a shit? Or was it, money men that pushed a game out too fast? But when I saw the fan base do this, I was like, dudes.
Yeah.
Like, just some of the comments on Twitter. Like, this is the lie. We've been betrayed. Like, why did you guys give a release date in the first place if you're just going to change it? You planned this. None of that even makes sense. Why would you deliberately delay something that people are so hyped for in a pandemic when people are home and would buy millions of copies for it? You think they didn't want it out in February where people could have been playing Cyberpunk for the last 10 months? Of course they would have. Dude. I don't know, man. That was a real disappointing nerd moment for me this week. When I saw those comments on Twitter, my heart broke, man.
Yeah, I mean, I have never, I've never understood, and I mean, probably because I'm a sane person, but how in the world are we here in society where death threats have become a normalized thing? Mm-hmm. It is so crazy how if something gets the slightest bit of negative attention, that person will get death threats. I still remember whenever what was it, Rebecca Black, that Friday song.
Oh god.
Oh yeah.
She was fucking destroyed emotionally. And she had so many death threats, it was crazy. And I was like, from a song? I was genuinely confused. I was like, what? And that just opened up the floodgates. I know I've mentioned this a couple times before, but we had the girl that voiced that one character in not Left 4 Dead, The Last of Us 2.
Last of Us 2, yeah.
Yeah. We had her. She got death threats for voicing that one character, and I'm like, it's her fucking
Abby.
character. And now we have, for fucking developers of a game, getting death threat, there needs to be a line drawn somewhere. This is just not 100%. Okay. It's fucking dangerous.
Well, there is a line. There's a line. They just cross it.
Well, yeah, I guess that's right. We need a new, thicker line with a big wall. Oh shit! Wait,
it's a pretty simple line.
Yeah.
Don't send death threats.
Yeah, but I just don't understand how I don't understand like the types of people that think that that's okay, like, and how there's so many of them that think that that's okay. It blows my mind.
All I know is you're not allowed to call those people the R word anymore.
Yeah, there you go, because that's offensive.
Was it kind of just seem unfair that they can
my
send death
God.
threats, so we can't call them certain names?
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. It's such a weird world, man. Like, and where the boundaries are for free speech as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're allowed to do that to a video game developer, but you mention anything about religion the wrong way, banned from Twitter. You mention anything about this the wrong way, banned from Twitter. Like, and the thing is, you have to take death threats seriously because like Hooch mentioned earlier, all of you over there have apparently 15 guns each, right? Number one.
Right.
And then
15,
number
come
two,
on.
look what happened in France this month. I mean, good fucking God. Like, I mean, they basically, a teacher showed a cartoon of something in a school and he got beheaded for it. In the middle, in front of the school, they cut off his head. Not even being dramatic, that is exactly what happened this week. And then 3 people were stabbed in a church this week because of a comment someone made about a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest fucking world that I understand that like free speech needs to be protected, but man, we need to start getting some consensus on what is common and decent behavior enough and what we probably could exclude from society in general, especially the internet. Like it's such a fine line though.
Well, the one thing I think you hear people like banter about a bit is, free speech. It doesn't give you carte blanche to say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all it says is you cannot be, like in this country, you cannot be jailed for what you say. But even that comes with a limitation. Because if you were to say something that inspired or incited someone to do something else that was illegal, you're the one held responsible. Like you hear it all the time. Somebody said, go kill yourself. And that person did it. They're the ones who are responsible for it. Like walk into a crowded theater, yell fire. If a riot ensues and somebody gets trampled, that's on you.
But there's so much ambiguity in all of that shit, though. Like, as far as like how much of it was actually attributed, how can you prove it, that kind of thing. Like the lines are so blurred for that kind of stuff, and you could argue both sides, like, very well in most cases. Like, I think like the only time that I've seen like in recent history where someone was actually, in the example that you said where it's like, basically assisting suicide of some kind. Like it was that one like most recent fucked up story where that girl was legitimately like pushing over and over and over again. But like, I mean, like, everything else is like, people say like that shit all the time. Should it happen? No. But like, someone saying that as, whenever they're mad, I don't know if that's worthy of, jail time or something like that, if that actually happens. But that's the problem, is that there's so many different lines, and it's just ambiguous. But this is just not okay. Like, we have to get out of this, like, death threats for anything that goes wrong. Like a date being pushed back, death threat. Like, what? It doesn't make any sense. So
Yeah.
Look, anyone's out there doesn't like that feels this way. Feels like it's okay to say that. Like, because you should have put it. I want you to do yourself a favor. Go and Google the term crunch in terms of video game development. I don't think you understand how hard the average person that works at this, and I mean the workers, not the people that sell and market the game, the people that design it, build it, these worlds that we love and get lost in for hundreds of hours, right? They are literally taking things out of our imagination and giving us a playground, right? I know that's a kind of a naive way of looking at it, but these are the people that are actually doing that. How hard and overworked those people get pushed, and how underpaid they are versus the people that actually sell and market the game and run the boards and shit. It's disgusting, right? Especially with crunch. Crunch is just one of those things that, it's like, yep, the game's coming up on schedule. Be prepared to work 6-7 days a week for 22 hours a day. You will be sleeping at your desk. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so fucking gross. And then to say, on top of that, hey, go kill yourself or I'm going to kill you because you can't release it on a day that I want it to be released. You're the piece of shit, mate. You are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The thing that a lot of people forget is when you're creating a game, especially a game of these size, there are systems upon systems upon systems that not only have to be like solid and work together, they can't break.
Yeah.
So, you have to design them perfectly, or, practically perfectly, and then you have to engineer them and develop them, and then you have to test them to make sure that there's nothing wrong with them. And it's one small thing in one area, you try to fix it, you could easily break several other things in a different portion of the game that you then have to go back, test, fix, retest, and it can quite easily just become this thing where you think it's 2 days to fix this. It's now 3 weeks later and we're still not done with it yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's I think the biggest issue is that people just don't know that side of it, so they don't understand that side of it.
Yep.
I will happily school them.
That was disappointing, man. It was disappointing. It really was. Like, especially when I started reading the comments. Like, because obviously reading the article, you're just like, okay, well, how much is this blown out of proportion? Because they tend to say, you know, gamers are this and gamers are that. Like, the way that we are characterized by mainstream media, quite often, you know, we're all incel, overweight, hentai addicts that have rage problems. And I mean, 90% of that's true for most of it, sure. But
hey, quit talking about me like that.
I love cheeseburgers. But yeah, look. So I read the story, and then I went to the source because I love to do that. I'm a big fan of, you know, journalism. I was devastated. That
It's embarrassing. It truly is embarrassing.
Yep. Let's talk about good shit, shall we?
Yeah.
Please.
Oh God, people. Why do we need them? You know what I mean?
People
All
suck.
right. Video game stuffs. Gabe Newell. Do you know who that is, Hebrew?
Who?
Oh, damn.
Gabe Newell.
No, I don't.
Please.
That's okay.
No,
This is a
seriously?
nerd test that you have yet again failed. So he is
Oh my God.
one of the original guys who ran Valve. And I think he's officially their president, isn't he, Hooch? But he's not really active in like development or anything.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yep. So he came out and did an interview. It's been a little while between drinks. He's basically been out quarantining in New Zealand this whole time. And it was a really interesting, from what we've been able to get from it. The original interview, have you been able to find it? I can't find the original, only the paraphrasing.
Yeah, I think it was just the paraphrasing that was only allowed to be released. If somebody has that actual full interview, they shouldn't.
I want to
have
watch it for sure. Yeah, apparently he said things that were kind of spoilery, like that was, you know, products that aren't ready yet, that aren't supposed to be announced. He went, he Elon Musk the shit out of it. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, we're working on that.
So one of the things that came up is apparently he's talking about maybe bringing Valve and maybe some other tech studios to New Zealand, because obviously they handle the pandemic very well. You don't have to worry about a lot of the operating costs or reductions of social distancing that the rest of the world has to do, because it's not there. And once you're quarantined into that country, it's business as usual now. So he was saying that their lifestyle and all that. So he's actually appealing to the New Zealand government, you know, give us a reason to be here. And I think with movie productions, the way they've worked in Australia and New Zealand with the big tax breaks that they get, I have a feeling it's going to happen.
I wouldn't be
I'd
surprised.
say lack of coronavirus is reason enough.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, oh man, yeah, that would be reason enough for me to go there.
Now,
Almost.
what I got really excited about this, because I still maintain the best VR experience so far. And Hebrew, you need to play this. I don't know how many weeks I need to keep telling you this. You need to play Half-Life Alyx on VR. Just get a Steam account, bite the bullet, just do it.
Okay, fair enough.
Half-Life Alyx is the best VR experience I've had, just with the way that they've got the physics, the graphics, everything. No motion sickness because the frame rate is top notch. It's just a wonderful VR experience. So in this interview, they were talking about the fact that they're big fans of VR, and apparently when they released Half-Life Alyx, they saw the initial response and they didn't wait. They immediately went back to work on potentially more Half-Life content in VR, which for me is super exciting. Did you play it, Hooch? I can't remember if you're VR or not.
No, I do have a Rift. I just have to plug it back in again.
Sure.
But I have played, I didn't get a chance to play Alyx. I wanted to. But I played all the other Half-Life stuff as well.
Dude.
So.
Yeah, I mean, that especially was very good. And if you're a Half-Life fan, there's a lot of things in there that are just for you too. So that was exciting. But he's saying as well that what they're really excited about at Valve is obviously they're doing a lot of tech testing, because with the Valve Index, it's arguably the platform everyone kind of wants right now. It's the one that has the better controller setup. And obviously availability is just a major issue. They literally cannot make enough of these things. So they're, instead of continuing to try and put production out for more Index, they're actually working on whatever the next thing is. And he basically believes that the visual fidelity on VR in the next 3 years will exceed any monitor on planet Earth. Basically saying that games will look and feel better in VR than playing it in any other way on the planet inside 3 years.
I would say that is incredibly optimistic.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'd have to agree.
When you really think about it, no. because you think about just visual distance, right? So from the point of getting the image that's on your screen to your retina, you are dealing with ambient light, you are dealing with, all sorts of neurological and degenerative conditions as well. It's so much about the more space there is between what you're looking at and your eye. Already, we're talking about processing time, blah, blah, blah. If the screen is literally on your face, right, you get rid of a lot of factors, number one. But number two is the screen size. When you are that small and you can compress things down so much, you can actually get away with a lot because the pixel size can be so small and compressed. When they kind of nail that, I think that there's a lot to be said. And it's 2 screens as well. You don't have to be as clever on one side because you've got 2 things to work with. I believe it, especially with the way the tech is moving at the moment. I mean, we're already talking about 8K tech being available for gaming, and developers are like, bro, I've been working on this game for 6 years to get up to 4K. What are you doing?
I mean, I think for me, though, I'd say it's possible from a technological perspective, but it's getting it to a point to where you can mass produce it at a cost that's something that is appealing to gamers. That's the tricky part.
Yep.
I mean, I've seen crap now where you have LCD or LED screens or whatever that you just roll up like plastic.
Yeah.
Right. But you got to pay $60,000 for the dang thing.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, the technology is absolutely there. I think we already have that technology, but just putting it in a package that you want to sell or people want to buy.
And that's exactly it. And that's why I think we're probably lucky with this particular experience that it is something that's obviously going to tie in with porn. Because we all know that porn kind of drives... it is true. You can joke about it all you want. It is true. Porn drives the growth of things like this. If you can sell sex with it. I mean, the internet itself exploded predominantly because of porn, right? And a lot of things happen. So because this is, the more fidelity, the more immersive experience you can have with some of our incel friends we talked about earlier, obviously, the more likely it is that this is going to take off. So if you have enough people want to invest in it, and look, pricing, if you have a look at VR tech, it has been coming down every year. It's been getting better and cheaper at the same time. So, I think there's hope there. I think 3 to 5 years, it's not that ambitious. But talking about ambitious, obviously, he's a big, big advocate for brain-computer interfacing, as is your boy Hebrew, Elon Musk, with Neuralink.
Right.
Yeah. Did you actually read the Neuralink link that I sent you?
No, I didn't.
I did. That's crazy.
It's fucking nuts, right?
Is it just the standard one that's been on the website?
Yeah. As in insert this into your brain, and then now you can control your phone with your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, look, wait, I want to control my phone? I'm like, why my phone?
Yeah, the phone's an interesting one. There's so many jokes you could make about that. If we were writing a nerd type show right now, I would definitely write a scene where you have the sort of the lad of your nerdy group who is definitely playing around on his girlfriend. You have her going, show me your phone, right? And he's like, yeah, babe, no problems. And then in his brain, he's going, delete all messages. You know what I mean? And then he's
empty.
Yeah. It's like, Steve Burber told you I'm loyal. Do you know what I mean? There's so much fun. Anyway, that's where my brain goes sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's crazy that we're here now. We're at this point, and then now we're literally heading into early Deus Ex territory, or Deus Ex, depending on how you say it.
Yeah.
Deus Ex?
The question is not, can we do this to our body? The question is, should we? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We are entering.
That is the question.
I mean, as nerds, we've been playing in this space for decades. I mean, if you count sci-fi novels, we've been playing it for 100 years. But we're fucking here now, right? And I think the world needs to play more video games to see what can happen from here.
Yeah.
Right?
I 100% agree. There's some big ethics issues that we're going to be playing around with pretty soon. And safety issues, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, privacy issues for sure.
Oh man, if you can hack an iPhone, you can hack a fucking brain implant. If it has any connectivity, which obviously this does, that's the terrifying part.
Exactly.
Is that if you have outgoing information, what can go in?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a terrifying concept. I'm not going to be a day one guy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll get a PS5 day one, boys. I'll be the guy standing out from 12 o'clock that night before. I think on this one, I might let a few other people go first.
Yeah, for sure. I also I think about if you're talking about downloading, basically downloading things into your brain. Think about how much bullshit is on the internet real quick.
I know.
Oh my god.
Like, no fucking thank you. You're gonna you type in one thing, you're gonna find 30 different opinion pieces on that one thing, right? And probably 20 of them are gonna be extremist point of views. You don't want all of that infecting your brain.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I want to do is download into my brain a video, some, hot chick I want to see, and all of a sudden interrupt by a goddamn Facebook ad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all the pop-ups.
Or more importantly, her breakout role starring in Two Girls, One Cup. Like, you just don't need that.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for reasons to get it, Chew. Jeez.
Oh, sorry, my bad. All right, well, have you tried One Man, One Jar? How's that sound?
There we go. Much better.
Jesus.
As long as you didn't say Tub Girl, we're okay.
Oh, God. That's, yeah. Did you know that waffles, when they leave the factory, are actually dyed blue? You should Google it. All right, so...
No.
All right. Destiny 2 had a compressed version of their story trailer from... it was basically like a cut-down version of what we saw last week, what we discussed on the show. I sent you a link of this one as well, Hooch, so you could catch up on the story. There's not much to really came out in addition to this, but I wanted to talk about it for this reason is... I noticed in Buffy, it was probably because of the age of that, I was like, when was the first time that a cover of something was really slowed down for like dramatic impact on like a piano or orchestral, and then like, do you know what I'm talking about? Like, because it's the trend now. Like every major movie, every game trailer has this like slowed down version of something massive. And I was only thinking not that long ago of like, when did this start? It felt like only the last couple of years. But then when I was watching the season 1 finale of Buffy, it was literally that like the theme song slowed down on a piano in the background. I was like, holy shit, they were doing it right back then in the fucking like 1997. And yeah, because in this trailer for Destiny, this is I did have a point, I promise. The Rolling Stones, Paint It Black, they had an awesome version of this in their trailer. Did you guys watch it and listen to it?
Yeah, I did. It was fucking
pretty
awesome.
good.
Badass.
I forgot how much I love that song.
Same.
That song is amazing.
Yeah, dude. So, yeah, I don't know why it became a trope. I mean, what's probably the most memorable ones for you over the last couple of years? For me, it would be the live-action Tomb Raider movie. They had that cover of Survivor by Destiny's Child. The cut-down version of that. Do you guys hear that?
Oh, yeah. What about the, was it the trailer for The Punisher using Metallica?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
What else was there? There was the Call of Duty one a couple of years ago that had that kind of almost dubsteppy distortion version of Seven Nation Army.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Like, all of this stuff kind of just like reminds me of like back in the day when like EA was making a lot of games that were that because they had the licensing, they had the money to be able to get the licensed songs, and they had like either trailers or intros or whatever that just had a bunch of that stuff in there. Yeah. So you get stuff like, you talk about Paint It Black, Battlefield 5, right? That had Painted Black as well.
That's
but it was like actually the actual version of the song. Yeah. But I mean, it was great. I mean, just that song itself is good.
Yeah.
Wasn't it also featured in Twisted Metal?
It's been in
like
so many things over the years.
Say.
It was in episodes of House, and it's everywhere, man. It is everywhere. But no, it's I don't think that's going away anytime soon, because some of those songs have just got, when you just change the cadence of it or even the pitch just a little bit, it's amazing how they can just become, epic versus just awesome as they were. So I dig it. Now, EA, everyone's favorite punching bag. How does 10 million euro in fine sound to you boys for EA? Would you feel bad for them?
No.
No. Heck no.
So in Belgium and also the Netherlands, they had a lot of changes over the last couple of years in regards to legislation with loot boxes. And they basically said, look, it's gambling. You can call it whatever you want. Surprise mechanics. Eat a dick. It's gambling. Take it out of your video games, right? And they had very specific things they had to change. We spoke about it on the podcast before. They had to remove shiny animations. They had to remove those really enticing noises that sounded very much like poker and gambling machines. They said, take it out. If you leave these sort of things in there, We are going to come at you. We're going to ban your games, and we're going to fine the shit out of you. And EA went, okay, bro, lols. Here we are a year later, and yeah, after a review of FIFA, looking at the packs that they had, and we only just had last week talking about the lawsuits being filed in Canada and also California, that the government they're not fucking around. They've gone €5 million for breach number 1, €5 million for breach number 2. Actually, no, it's the same breach, but I'm pretty sure it's the 2 different branches of EA, because in Europe they split up, right?
It was 10 million total of 5 for each.
Yes. So they have a very brief period of time. They have the choice to debate this to see whether or not they should pay it or not. And then if they lose the appeal, then they have to pay the fines. And I'm hoping to God that they pay the fines, because if they do, precedent is set. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I just, like, you're right. Like, the precedent being set is the most important thing. I just wonder how long is it going to take for it to actually affect EA's actions? Because it's definitely right now, no matter, like, these things are like tiny little drops in the bucket, like $10 million in fine, whatever. They made, they netted $5 billion last year. So like right now, this doesn't matter. But the question is, at what point will it actually start affecting them? Because right now it's going to be that tipping point of the predatory actions that they're doing are currently outweighing by a vast degree the amount that they make or that they have to pay out in fines. So it has to find that tipping point of when it finally becomes, cost effective to stop doing those things. And I think that it's going to be a long time before we hit that.
$10 million to EA is a quick round of layoffs that they write off as, that are no longer operating costs or whatever for that year. And then they hire them all back the next year. Yeah. just to go through the whole thing again.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's probably how it starts. But look, I mean, as long as we get that first ball rolling, it's going to come around full circle. I mean, I hope. I still want to believe this is true, that we can get to that point. Otherwise we're going to end up that they'll be like the sex stores of Australia, like we said before. They'll just build the fines into their operating costs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
I honestly think,
and
and this might be just the super cynical way to look at it, and I hope to God I'm wrong, but I honestly think that there's basically going to be a cap on what they'll be fining. And I think that it will be just absorbed into their cost every year. And I think that they'll just keep paying it, and they're going to be making way more out of it to keep doing it. And they'll just keep doing it. I hope that absolutely. I'm fucking wrong. I hope. But we'll see.
Well, I mean, I guess, like, what have they made from the loot boxes from FIFA? I mean, does that already offset the fine?
The answer to that one is 100%.
Billions.
Yeah. And if that's the case, they'll be like, whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. So, until the tipping point is hit, which I have a sneaky suspicion it will never be, but we'll see.
But that's the thing, though. Like, once that precedent's set, like, then it becomes news, and then some arrogant dipshit trying to make a name for himself in Congress or the Senate, like Josh Hawley in the U.S., like, he's going to come out and just say, "Well, there's gambling out there for our kids, and we can't have that." And he's going to go, "And I'm the guy that's going to propose the biggest fines ever." You know what I mean? Like, we need that first rolling stone. And then once it kicks off, you're going to get someone do that. I think the UK is going to go first. Like, they've been on this for years, that they want to see this get taken down. And they've had so many different cracks at it. But they're going through a review again right now. They just did a big public round of anyone's experiences or thoughts about loot boxes, send it into the government. And I think that closed a little while ago. Maybe it's still going. I'm not sure.
I think it closed about a month ago.
Between that and the value perspective of Game Pass at the moment, I'm hopeful about the future of gaming again, for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Now, you and I believe that Watch Dogs Legion is one of the hottest games of this month, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's actually been confirmed. It is officially the hottest game of this month, literally. So what has been happening on Xbox up until apparently today, they're supposed to be doing a patch, is that it has been overheating the shit out of the Xbox One X to the point that it has been crashing it, shutting it down, and in some cases, bricking the console.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit is right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has
That is
been
not
cooking
good.
Xboxes raw, man. So we put out this PSA yesterday on our Discord. So look, we always try, if we see something potentially dangerous, we post it out immediately on the Discord. So make sure you join over there, guys. It's all free. Just turn off all the alerts except for the urgent messages channel.
Discord.me/ANR.
Boom. I didn't want to plug it again because that would have been my
There
fault.
you go.
So,
I got you.
so that's pretty crazy. And then staying on Xbox, Todd Howard. So it's been a real tipsy-turvy story since the Bethesda purchase by Microsoft, is that Microsoft said, man, don't worry, we're still going to release these games everywhere. And then you had Phil Spencer from Microsoft going, we don't have to release shit for other consoles. And then you had Todd Howard from Bethesda come out this month and going, why wouldn't we sell Elder Scrolls 6 everywhere? This is crazy. So this is the story that I feel is going to flip-flop so much back and forward over the next couple of years as these games start to come out about what the fuck is going to happen with the future of Bethesda games. I cannot see them from a business decision not releasing it everywhere. Because we talked about it before, Game Pass is enough of a reason to get an Xbox.
Yeah.
Or PC.
Or PC. Exactly. Either way, you're sticking with Microsoft in that sense. So.
Exactly. My question, though, is when the Bethesda announcement was made, how many gamers sent death threats to Microsoft for potentially taking Bethesda games away from them on the PS4?
That's a good question, actually. I didn't see that come up in the news. I'm sure there was some, by the sounds of it, because apparently we send death threats for everything now.
Yeah. I feel like people are sending death threats out because it's, a fucking Saturday. I hate Saturdays. Fuck you. Death to you.
I don't understand how everyone is so angry with the abundance of things to jerk off to. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it just have a think. Just go, before I type on this keyboard, what if I nutted right now? Would I feel better? Probably.
That's why the post-nut clarity is a real thing. That's why
100%.
before making any big decision in your life, like
Yeah.
maybe sending a death threat, like post-nut clarity is where you want to be at.
How many
know
less tweets do you think we would see on planet Earth if before you sent them there was a law that said you have to have orgasm within the last 10 minutes of sending a tweet?
I think the world would be a much better, more optimistic, and happier place for sure.
I know for a fact one Twitter account we would never hear from again, thankfully.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. True.
Yeah. Yes.
True.
Yeah.
No, I think he'd gloat about it. It was the biggest load you've ever seen.
It was the best load. It's good. It's a
I
great
did it all by
load.
myself. Melania did nothing. She stood by and watched the whole
could not do
time.
it. Yes, Obama couldn't do a load like that.
He tried once. He should be locked up for nutting. Not me, though. I get to nut whenever. Yeah. Oh, man.
We're Hunter Biden's loads.
He's too old. He can't fire anymore. It's just dust. Oh, my God.
Now,
I like it.
now we know why Biden is Sleepy Joe
So
Biden.
funny. So funny.
He doesn't tweet, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't tweet that often.
Dude, I'm so glad that that's the case. I don't want a president that fucking tweets. I can't believe that,
Yeah.
I
His would
like
just be lost in the White House. Send help.
Yeah, I always say, there you go. I just remember, soon after he was elected president, after Trump was elected president, he had that Twitter feud with Meryl Streep, and I was like, I can't believe I can legitimately say right now that my president is in a Twitter feud with Meryl Streep. Jesus fucking Christ.
Then he went after a 17-year-old. So, that Meryl Streep wasn't enough. He had to keep going.
Yep.
I'm pretty
Exactly.
sure there's other lawsuits out there about him going after a 17-year-old, but that's another chat. All right. VR was definitely massive news this week, as we already talked about. Oculus, and more importantly, Facebook, continuing, I think if we have, the Fuckwit of the Year awards, Jesus Christ, they're trying their best to climb to the top too, aren't they? With all the political stuff is one thing, but did you see the stuff with the Oculus, Hebrew? Because you're an Oculus user, aren't you? You get the Quest.
Yeah, I have the Quest.
All right, so I have some very good news and some very bad news for you. The good news is you are getting a exclusive to Oculus Quest Star Wars game, which actually looks really good.
Yeah, I saw that. It looks amazing.
Yeah, so I'm very jealous of that. However, it turns out that if you, for any reason, decide to shut down your Facebook account, everything that you purchased on the Oculus is gone forever.
Yeah,
You have
that's
to have
some
a Facebook
bullshit.
account. It has to be active, and if you don't want to participate in that shit, it's gone. So this is where nerds rose to the occasion this week. They went, oh really, and released super technical guides of how to jailbreak an Oculus Quest. Oh, so good. That's
you
why
don't
I
want
love
to
nerds,
fuck
man.
with, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, we have lots of moments where we don't shine well at all, but like definitely one of the more intelligent communities in the world. Like, we can put our dick on the table every once in a while. This is one of these moments.
Yeah.
We will either literally kill you or kill your profits by sending out your technology. Yeah, it kill you.
Well, like the nerd mafia. It's like, we're gonna kill you and your whole family.
Basically.
Oh man. So yeah, I mean, I always love it when they stick it to people who are trying to like overly monetize things, especially Facebook, who have just like sold all. I mean, I wouldn't feel comfortable wearing a VR headset from Facebook these days with how much, like, they would have cameras on, sensors, everything. There's no way I would even entertain the idea of VR pornography using a Oculus headset.
Yeah, it's probably a good call.
Right?
Yeah.
Definitely don't look. If you are, don't look down, because Facebook will see you jerking off. Is what I'm saying. Because they have the face-mounted cameras on that, don't they? The forward-facing.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and they'll obviously record that, and then they'll make their own like genre of pornography.
Yeah.
Of like,
don't jerk off facing a mirror is what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely that. That's for sure.
Yep.
Although I wonder what that would look like.
I don't want to know.
Oh, God.
Because the reason I don't want to know is that it probably already exists, and I don't need to
that. I'm sure that is. Yeah. What is it? Rule 23 or
34? I think.
Rule 34. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Did you just set a perv trap and I fell straight into it?
Yes, exactly.
God damn it! Every time.
Now I know you know.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, there's that. Now, nerds also designing their own thing. Among Us, still one of the most trending games out there in the Twitch world. Someone basically said, you know what would be cool? If we could be in the Among Us universe. So they basically made a rip-off of that, which is in full VR mode, which streamers have been going nuts with this week, and it actually looks really, really fun.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think it looks like better, like way more fun.
I don't play Among Us very often, so I don't know where anything is.
Yeah.
So like me wandering around the map in VR does not help me. I'd be like,
look, do you think it would be more real though? I think it feels like you get better muscle memory in some ways. That like, well, I know where it is because I have to walk there. It's like, oh, fuck it, ventilation's too far.
Yeah, but and then the level of immersion and the fear factor, whatever. Like, watching that stream that you had in the link where
it's not a good example, by the way. Australian streamers. And I say that as an Australian streamer.
But still, like, all the stuff that she was getting into and everything, like, it was so nerve-wracking just watching some of that stuff. Like, oh my God. But it was great. It looks so much fun though.
It did so well.
VR.
They did so well with that. I was actually really impressed. And Among Us was in the news twice this week. Once for that, but also on the back of AOC obviously being a part of that. There was one day, I think, where there was massive login issues, and there was a hack where basically they'd hacked part of the game that when you logged in, it basically said Trump 2020. Because apparently they hate AOC so much, they had to go in and do some hacking of their own.
Of course.
Something about that doesn't seem right. I don't know too many like hackers that would be supporting Trump, because I thought hackers are usually pretty intelligent.
I mean, not always. And I mean, were they American? Joe?
That's true.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't think
just
of
to
that.
throw some complexity in that story. We talked about Trump way too much already today, so let's move on. This is a gaming podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We're not political here. Well, we are, but not
obviously not
now,
political here.
Speaking of disasters for humanity, Anthem, the video game, was up there as one of the worst releases probably ever for games as a service. It was the textbook of what not to do, and Square Enix said, "Hold my beer." So they have been saying for the longest time, even before like half of their development team left, right? Because like guys like Ben, what's his name, the Australian guy who was the lead, he left ages ago. They were all saying, we are going to make this right. And a lot of us stuck around for about, let's say, we were pretty generous. I think we gave them about 2 months of still playing them. And me and shout out to Fat Honey Badger.
I gave him 1 week.
That. I know, even less than that. Like he and I were both joking about that. Just like you buy so many games to play with us, and we never see you in there. So yeah, so we're gonna fix it. When did Anthem come out? I'm gonna do my usual once per episode super professional Google on the air.
I want to say probably about a year ago.
February last year.
Was it? I thought it was older than that.
Oh, there you go. My memory is not as bad as I thought. February 22, 2019.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Wait, Andromeda was 2017? Fuck off.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
It feels like it was 8 seconds ago. Maybe it just feels that fresh because I'm still pained. So, yeah, this week we actually saw for the first time some actual news about what Anthem Next, which is what they've been unofficially calling it, or Anthem 2.0, is going to look like. So they are separating out completely the abilities being on gear like they used to. And you are going to have skill trees now. So you can actually have different builds, different sets, each different, what do they call it in that game? What were the suits called in that game? Literally memorable, obviously. Don't know, don't care. Let's say Iron Man. For legal reasons, not Iron Man. Let's call them roadies. So with your roadie, you basically can pimp them out, and like every roadie type will have its own different feel, right? Mm-hmm. So the loot system actually doesn't look too bad now. Like if they deliver on a lot of these things, I'd be curious about giving it another shot, but I don't know how you get people back. And I think what I'm worried about with EA especially is I reckon they're going to try and charge people for Anthem 2.0, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Ooh, yuck.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Weren't they called javelins?
That's right. Javelins.
Javelins,
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. Oh, God. I don't know. Like, I mean, that game had so much potential. And the sad thing is, like, the javelins in that game flew, and most of the combat felt better than Iron Man in Avengers. Because we all said, like, if this was an Iron Man game, I'd play this, right? If they really fleshed it out. There was a lot of beats of Anthem that had a lot of potential, but there was just, A, not enough of it. B, you made a loot game without loot. There's, C through Z, but we don't have time.
The end game was lacking too, of course.
Very, very terrible. So
yeah. I mean, I would be tempted to give it a go since I never really ended up playing it in the first place.
So it's got that going for it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So like, I would give it a go, but I would never fully invest into it because the player base is not going to be there no matter what. So even if they did do a good job, it's just I hate playing games that are dead.
Oh, for sure. Did you play it, Hooch?
Me and you can. I was gonna say me and Hebrew can start at the same place, bottom, because I never played it. Like when I started to think about playing it, everybody was talking about how terrible it was. So I just like, nope, not even gonna try.
No, I think if other people went into it that we know, I'd probably tip the tip of my penis in. Like, I don't know that I'd, try and do it. Because when I go right into a game, as we talked about before, like, I go dupe. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Shadowlands has officially confirmed their release date of 23rd of November. I thought they did that already, but apparently now it's official. They released a story trailer overnight for World of Warcraft Shadowlands. I don't know what to think. I've been talking to a lot of people. Shout out to Boagris, who has been in the beta.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, what they can and can't say is very different. For the most part, it sounds like they can talk about pretty much everything because the streamers have been. It seems like they're getting better and better with the balancing of the classes, but it seems that there's a lot of interactivity that certain classes will only basically function if you have this character with this artifact in this spec in this circumstance. It sounds like a lot of the potential systems aren't 100% finished. And when you are inside 4 weeks of release, I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, because every time we've heard that story this year, hasn't panned out well.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure what to think about it because we've expressed our issues with WoW and its current state right now, but I don't know. I've heard like some good things about it, surprisingly, but yeah, I'm not sure what to think about it, especially like the new content. Like, what's their end game content been like in the past like expansion or two? Has it been good?
The one before it was really good. BFA has kind of been a mixed bag. For the most part, not great, especially when it first came out. Like a lot of the storylines weren't great. Some of the raid mechanics, like there was some fun encounters, but nothing where you sort of went, this reminds me of this fight that was so memorable and the mechanics were so awesome, blah, blah, blah. Like it's very much become just more refined versions of what WoW's kind of always been. And it sounds like with Shadowlands, they're trying to return to some of those things, like, you know, removing the grind to the level experience. So you're going to have to grind up to level 60 now, not level 120. You know, they're compressing XP. They're making it so you can level wherever you want to. They're trying to change the way that dungeons work, so that some of the interactions you have with other players are more like, you know, during the heyday of when WoW was really, really, really at its peak, during vanilla and probably BC, I'd say. Maybe even Wrath, I'd say, is probably after that. It's where it started to fall off a bit. But BFA was certainly not the greatest one. It wasn't as bad as... what was that really bad one? Was it Warlords? Wasn't great.
Warlords of Draenor?
I thought BFA was the worst one.
No, actually, I really liked some parts of Warlords of Draenor. Some parts of it. Like, I didn't like the Garrosh turn.
Was Mists of Pandaria pretty, like...
I didn't mind Mists.
Well-received?
I mean, I love the Pandas, though. That's a big difference, because they were the first ones to have the new character models. That was before they redid like how janky the dwarves and that used to look, especially the goblins. Those idiots, trash. So yeah, they fixed a lot of that. So yeah, I don't think at the moment I'm gonna day one it. I actually was until the delay, and then I started looking into more like all the people that were deep beta and were then allowed to talk about it. And everything I was hearing was just like, man, all I'm hearing is a team that's like, they're not quite where they need to be with the game, but they're getting pressure that they have to get a release out before the end of the year, like because they've got shareholders during COVID. And, you know, there's a lot of those beats that are in there. It's a lot of the same language we heard from Square Enix towards Avengers release. So I don't know. I think I'm going to wait until we see the finished product, or wait and hear what the beta people are saying in the week of release, because that's going to be basically the game. So
yeah, this is definitely a wait a week game.
Yeah, or maybe even longer. I mean, because with them, like, I mean, if you want to raid day one, sure, you want to be there as early as you can. But there's normally like at least, what was it, like a month to 6 weeks before they release the first raid anyway. Sometimes 2.
Yeah, usually you'll just have like the high-end dungeon, and they won't hit that first raid until, you know, a little bit. Because they're expecting everyone, you have to get a large enough group to be able to go in there, right? Yeah. And they can't expect everyone to have that quick rush to the end, the max level, and have it in the first 2 or 3 days.
Right. Well, I mean, there are some people that will. Let's be real. Like, you know, we all know that's WoW players, hands down. The dedicated, the world first thing. Like, that's one of the few games where world first achievements is still so important to that community.
Yeah, I mean, the only two I can think of is like Destiny raid clears and WoW raid clears. Yeah, for world first,
for sure.
I was gonna say I took a week off when Burning Crusade came out, but. And I remember, like, I pushed hard to get to max level, and I regretted it because I spent so much time just doing nothing. Yeah. Waiting for the rest of my guild to catch up.
And that's kind of this time why I think I'm happy to wait. Because, A, if there is jank in the first week, and more importantly, those queues when there's server issues. Because remember, we're still inside a month of where all the servers crashed. Like, they put out the new patch, and everyone went, okay, I'm going to go back and check out WoW. And then at the same day that COD released, and everything went, nope. And just died. So, I mean, the fact that we've seen server stability issues only recently, and even in the last week or so with the amount of maintenance that they've had to do, unscheduled and scheduled, and then random crashes and login issues, authentication issues. I swear to God, the word authentication issues was introduced to me with vanilla WoW, and it seems very much a Blizzard thing. Like, I remember Diablo 3. Remember when it first launched and how much of a shit show that was?
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Good gold, y'all. So, yeah, I give us the old Blizzard on this one, because the storyline itself is real good. Like, I love this particular storyline. That's the part I want to have. And it's kind of the opposite chat we had at the start of the show with Watch Dogs Legion, is that with that game, it's the gameplay that makes me want to keep playing, not the story. With WoW, if there is no story, I'm not going to play it this time around, because the gameplay, I know what it is, because I played it for on and off for over a decade.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Now, I know that Hebrew is a Spider-Verse fan, as is Hooch. So, yeah, there was a trailer coming out. I think it's the last trailer we're going to get before the official launch of Miles Morales Spider-Man on PS5. That we're going to have the Into the Spider-Verse suit as one of the options in that game.
Yes.
That that looks slick. Did you guys watch that video, that clip?
Yep.
I did.
I mean, is it just me, or does it actually look like his animations are changed to match more what they are in the animated movie, not in the game?
I was confused by that because it actually looked a little bit more lo-fi as well. Like, it seemed like the game might scale differently when you were in that suit. Like, I don't know. To me, I'm more concerned that by that trailer, this is just a manipulative trailer to say this costume's going to be in there, but we want to make you feel like it's going to be Miles Morales from Into the Spider-Verse because it was such a beloved movie. I don't know how they're going to change the whole thing. But then again, like we saw Ghost of Tsushima, admittedly, it was just turning all the color off. They did have a specific mode in there where you could alter it. So who knows, man?
Yeah, it's the Kurosawa mode.
Yeah.
That's it.
Either way, it looked great. I mean, like, I think it looked good. I'm super excited to play it. I honestly just love the styling of this game, like, and how smooth it is. I think it looks fucking sexy. So I can't wait to play this thing day one.
Yeah, I don't think we need to sell that game to anyone.
No. The Spider-Man games are like, they're the closest things I've had to the next, waiting for the next Gotham or Arkham based game. Like, that was the closest feel I've had to having that feeling again of being, badass Batman.
I mean, you love your Batman, don't you?
Oh, dude.
What's not to love?
Yeah, I mean, come on, man.
Batman's, he's okay.
Look. I don't know if anybody can see, but no, you probably can't see, but for the video and whatever, I have a chair with the bat symbol on it.
Yeah,
you are about the Batman. No Gambit, but he's okay.
Oh, God.
Lord.
Gambit is not better than Batman. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Gambit is one of the most powerful superheroes in the Marvel Universe. Pre-lobotomy. Pre-partial lobotomy.
You know the series X-Men with Pete Holmes, where he was firing them all? You need to watch the one with Gambit.
Oh, I think I've actually seen that one. That was where, what's his face?
The guy from Silicon Valley.
Played. Yeah.
So good. Have you watched the outtakes of that? Dude, so funny.
Yeah, I haven't seen the outtakes of it, but yeah, I probably should.
Please watch the outtakes because I didn't realize how much of it that guy ad-libbed. The guy from...
he's hilarious. Yeah.
He's very, very funny. And a really, really funny ad-libber as well. Like that whole bit about the sandwich, the gyro, because like Xavier's sitting there going... But what if you don't have any cards? Like, you're basically useless. Okay, well, I can throw all sorts of things. I can throw, I don't know, like a euro. It's like you stand across the cafeteria and say, "Hey, Gambit, sandwich me," and then pop, in the mouth. And like, Pete Holmes lost his shit. The first thing is, all right, we're doing that. So funny.
There is actually like, all right, so that guy that from Silicon Valley and Jason Schwartz did a comedy special on Netflix. Did you guys see it?
I saw the trailers for it and a couple of like clips from YouTube, but not the whole thing. Yeah.
All right, so it's all 100. So it's totally different from all the other comedy specials, and that this one was totally 100% improv. So they're an improv duo, and I never thought that I would like improv because everyone always rags on improv comedy. Yeah. Legitimately one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen in my life, dude. It's 3 episodes. Each one's like an hour. They sit up there and they're given one scenario for each episode. They start off with one scenario, get all the details from people in the crowd, and then they fucking map it out. Or they don't map it out, but they just fucking go. And they go for like an hour, and it gets fucking ridiculous, dude. Like, do not sleep on that comedy special. I can't wait for another one to come out. It's amazing.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Definitely check that out. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of coming out, we have what's coming out this week. It's a pretty barren week. There's not really many big titles coming. The week after is going to be insane. Like, because obviously we're getting Valhalla. We're getting Jesus Christ. It's going to be a big week. Let's put it that way. So we have Dirt 5 is coming out November 6th. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit is now remastered. It's going to be available on November 6th as well. And I put this one in mainly for Piker for a dad's game, is that Paw Patrol, The Mighty Pops Save Adventure Bay, November 6th as well. So there's a game for you to play, Piker. Enjoy that with the little dude. Now, as far as sales and pass updates, bruh, Xbox is just not fucking around. They've added 10 games to the Game Pass today.
Oh, wow.
Today.
Wow.
Grim Fandango Remastered. Full Throttle remastered, Day of the Tentacle remastered, Unruly Heroes, Five Nights at Freddy's Seasons 1 through 4, Age of Empires 3, Tales of Vesperia, and then there's like 4 or 5 other ones in there as well that are more sort of indie games that are probably not as mainstream, so I didn't mention them. But every one of those games is pretty fucking good.
Jesus.
Oh, Grim Fandango was one of my... That was great.
Awesome, right? Have you played Grim Fandango, Hebrew?
No.
With how much you love Nightmare Before Christmas, you should play that game. It's like if Tim Burton made a video game.
I'm about to Google it real quick.
You should. Yeah. It's good shit.
I want to see the styling of it.
Now, if you have an Epic Games account, you should definitely log on because they have 2 free games right now. One is a Blair Witch game, which was okay. I remember playing it when it came out. It's all right. But probably an underrated game was... did you guys ever play the Ghostbusters video game when it came out?
I played it briefly.
I did not.
What'd you think?
I mean, again, like a lot of the games that I played back then, I picked up. I thought this was really good, but there was some damn MMO that I kept playing or some other game that kept dragging me back into it.
It's not a priority game, but it's one of those ones that, like, it is actually surprisingly good. Like, normally with a licensed game like that, you're going to go, this is going to be hot trash. But the way they did everything in that game, like the ghost traps and the proton packs, everything in there was actually pretty well done. So the fact that it's free with the new remastered version right now on the Epic Game Store, definitely go there. If you haven't got an account, sign up, download, go from there. Yeah. If you do buy something while you're there, make sure you use the code Alternerd because selling out. So, yeah. All right. Now, Steam, they have the Halloween sale and the Star Wars sale happening right now. So, Squadrons must be doing it tough already because there's 25% off on that already. It only came out this month, so that's crazy. And Fallen Order's 50% off as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's definitely a good pickup.
That is definitely a good pickup, yeah.
Alternatively, you can just get the EA Pro Play Pass and then play all those games for the low price of whatever.
Even better point.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. Yeah. Ubisoft, EA Pass, like all those are really good value for money. PS4 is having their Halloween sale. There's some okay stuff in there. The Good Old Games, the GOG website, they are having a monster of a sale. Like a monster of like classic Halloween-y type games. But some genuine bargains. So Alan Wake, you guys ever play that?
Yes, I did actually.
I own it, but I haven't played it yet.
Dude, if you don't own it out there, you can buy it right now for $3.74 on the GOG website. Why the fuck wouldn't you?
I bought that thing at $60. That hurts to hear that.
I know, right? So Call of Cthulhu, $7.49. Control, the Ultimate Edition, which has the DLC, $28. But be careful before you buy that, because if you don't own it yet, and you're thinking about getting it for next-gen console, wait, because there was some news this week that they're going to charge an upgrade fee. So you might as well just wait for the official one over there. What else was in here? There's a bunch of different things. Outlast 2 was like $6. That game was okay. Vampire's $12, but I think that's on a few different Game Passes now. Wolf Among Us, $7.49. What was the other big one in here that I saw? It was... Divinity Original Sin 2, $18. That's pretty good for that game.
Yeah.
And then Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, $7.49, but it is on Game Pass. So if you've got a PC or an Xbox, check there first for most of those games, actually. And one thing I missed on the PS4 Halloween sale, one game that I cannot recommend enough, Alien Isolation. Did you guys play that?
Oh, no.
Okay. This was a real hidden gem, and it's such a weird, different game. So imagine being on the ship where you know there is an alien from Aliens on the ship. But you have no gun.
So you're basically just trying to avoid it?
So you have to survive. Yeah, and it is genuinely tense. If that thing finds you, you are dying. Right? That's just the way it's going to go. So there's actually some narrative components in there as well, which is pretty really fun. And I think, it's been a while since I played it, I'm pretty sure you're playing Ripley's daughter.
Oh, wow.
It's a great game. PlayStation Store right now, $8.
Fair enough. That's worth a pickup. Yeah,
that's a must buy for me. If you haven't played that game or bought it, dude, that's a game you should play. It's really, really fun.
Okay.
So when you say Ripley's daughter, you're talking about Newt or her actual daughter?
Actual.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the story. I can't remember now, but yeah, it's something like that.
Okay. Not that that's super important, but
yeah, no, you make a good point. Yeah. All right. So that is all of that. Okay. So let's take some quick questions from our patrons on Discord, and then we will sell out and get out of here at the end. All right. So thanks to all of our patrons for submitting some questions this week. So we had Pike out first saying, if you remember the X-Men other than Wolverine, who would you be and why? Mine's easy. Juggernaut, bitch.
Is he technically a member of the X-Men, though?
That's a
it
good
says
point.
Mutant Universe, Brotherhood, Morlocks, etc. If I had read his full question, he's basically anything in that universe.
Oh, okay.
Well, mine for me, if you haven't been able to tell, Gambit 100.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's mine.
Is that so you can die after fingering Rogue?
That's so I get to finger Rogue.
But you die. You die after it. You die after it, though.
Worth no. No.
God.
I actually don't like Rogue in the slightest bit. She's way
Rogue
too
would
southern
be a bad
for me.
person to choose, though, because like if you were a psychopath, and you didn't necessarily care that you were killing people, you could be everyone's powers.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I would just be Gambit. I would be Gambit pre-partial lobotomy and be the strongest mutant in the world.
Right. What about you?
So there you go.
I've always been partial to Magneto.
Yep.
Simply because he's just, super badass, one of the most powerful mutants in the world, and Wolverine can't fuck with him.
Yeah. He can, because there was that arc where he pulled all the metal out of Wolverine. So as long as he doesn't do that, because once that happens, then you got no power over him. And then, he became super powerful.
And that was the reason why that's what drew me to like Magneto. I'm like, holy crap, he just ripped all the adamantium out of freaking Wolverine. That's badass.
You know what he can't control? A playing card.
Oh,
I can't believe you're trying to use that as a selling point. Well, he can't throw cards good. Oh. Not as cool as you think it is.
I throw cards the best.
He can control gravity, though.
Yeah. And, well... Wait, did you say Magneto can control gravity?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can. He manipulates magnetic fields.
Oh, can he do it to that degree, though?
He can fly.
Well, that's usually how he flies.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he can fly. Fuck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How far can you throw
I
a
can
card?
still fuck with it.
I'm gonna throw
I can throw it
up
fast.
in the
I
sky.
can throw it real fast. Yeah, I throw them real fast, so it's fine.
You are literally
much as I
role-playing
love
the
Ian
reasons
McKellen-
from that skit why Gambit is shit. Like, you are literally giving us the same justifications that he used as a joke.
Yeah, and but they're not jokes; they're real.
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, as I said, I love Ian McKellen, but not that pussy ass Magneto. I'm talking about Magneto from the comic books, the badass one.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Rockstar says he hates any form of advertising with a burning passion. Just thinking about advertising coming to video games makes me sick. What would be the best way to complain about these types of concerns to gaming companies so they take us seriously? So I want to answer this question and have you guys do the same, but then I want to ask an alternate after we're done. So first thing is, like, if you want to complain about things you don't like in gaming, what should you do? Number one is obviously go to the gamers themselves. Obviously leaving feedback through their forums and websites, that sort of stuff, directly to them first, like posting on your Twitter and assuming that someone's going to see them with your 18 followers. Probably not going to do the goods, right? They're not really breaking any laws depending on what they're advertising, so there's not much point in appealing to a government or anything like that. But to be honest, leaving feedback like the reason I'm not buying this game is XYZ is normally the best feedback you can leave through official channels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, I think this kind of works better for like ongoing content rather than a new game, but like not buying things that like, are doing something wrong for XYZ reason. Like, that seems to be the most impactful way to create change in the gaming industry. So vote with your dollar has always been my attitude.
I chuckled because that was like the first thing I thought. I was like, well, don't buy the game.
Yeah.
But upon further thought, like, another good thing is like going to like the official like game forums, because everybody has one, right? They always have a feedback section and just say, hey, I was interested in purchasing the game, but I'm not because of the particular advertising in there. It'll get to usually the community manager. They usually read all those things. And if they're a good company or good developer, that information will get passed on. Mm-hmm. Whether or not they action upon it, I don't know. But at least you can feel as though you had your voice heard and it's gone up the channel.
Absolutely. Now let me turn that into a game of Would You Rather. Would you rather loot boxes or ads?
For me, loot boxes. But predicated on the fact that there's control, like parental controls to lock out children. Yeah.
Loot boxes without predatory systems based on the loot you get. Mm-hmm.
So no loot boxes.
So no loot boxes. No, it's like, I mean, there are some games out there that don't do loot boxes poorly.
Yeah, I like cosmetic loot boxes are fine with me. I've always said that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what if a company like EA came to you guys and said, okay, if you can either have ads randomized through times of the day, like so basically every time you finish a match or something like that, would be pretty excessive. What if they said to you, over the course of a 24-hour period, if you watch 3 ads, it's all done. And you can choose to either have them at random times or all in one hit, and then they'll leave you alone.
What do I get in return for watching those 3 ads?
Well, right. For that, you don't have to. There's no all transactional stuff is removed from the game.
So I'm just basically either I'm forced to watch 3 ads, or at like right now, or I have to watch them at random intervals.
Yeah. Would you pay extra money for a video game to not have the advertising? If they said the ad-free version, and we're starting to see this in mobile gaming, the ad-free version is this much, and then for a slightly discounted price, there'll be ads.
I would probably go with the ad-free version, depending on what the difference in the price is, because I can't stand being interrupted when I'm playing a game. It just, completely takes me out. Like I'll be watching a video like on Facebook or something, like, oh man, I really want to see this video, and then an ad pops up. I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, just as you're about to ejaculate. It's like the worst timing.
Oh yeah, right. Jesus.
Yeah. I in the original thing that you asked me, or that you asked us, like whenever you turned it back around, like I would be okay with doing ads and having free content, like, so not having to pay for loot boxes. But I would not be like, I wouldn't mind there being free loot boxes. Like you get to draw once a day, for free, but you get like a randomized item or something like that. Like, because I do like being like unique from other people. So like having a chance to draw something that other people don't get or something like that. But having it not like money worth or tokenized or anything like that, like I would be down for that.
Interesting.
So does the game having an actual loot system is what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Be nice. All right, Slim asked the questions. Are there any book series or universes that have not already been adapted to a game that you would love to see made into a game? So is there any book universes that you'd love to see? I'd probably like to see... I mean, we've had different Battle Royale versions, but I think Hunger Games would be a cool one. Like if you did like the narrative part, so you had like the Battle Royale bits, but then like a single-player RPG element in between, or even multiplayer for that matter. Because what you could do is have like the game could evolve through different sections, so you could have PvE content when you were different like characters. Like you can have... Katniss is a ranged DPS character as you're trying to take down the major people in the city. Because, like, being able to fight out as PvE content the final battle of the Hunger Games, the books, not the movie versions, would be pretty rad. And then you'd have, what's the guy's name? Peter. Would just be an NPC that dies all the time. So that's one universe I think that you could do like a pretty decent thing like that. Man, there's a lot. I think probably the Magician series from, God, I cannot believe I'm not remembering this guy's name because he's such an important part of sci-fi. Who wrote The Magician? I'm going to Google it. It's going to happen.
Are you talking about the Magician series that's like currently going on?
Yeah, isn't it like Feist? What's his name?
Yeah, I didn't know that you watched that show.
What do you mean by show? No. I'm talking about the fantasy series.
Oh. Wait,
God.
haven't you mentioned that before?
Not on this podcast, no. I haven't. Is it
I thought you
Raymond
had, okay.
Feist or something? Raymond Feist. I left off the T. I knew I wasn't going
Feist.
crazy. Raymond E. Feist, the Magician series. Pretty good.
Okay.
Yep, that universe would be pretty cool. The other one is Robin Hobb with the Assassin series, I'm pretty sure it's called. Let me double check. Robin Hobb. Yes, the Assassin series. So Fool's Assassin, Royal Assassin. Basically, there's a great series. Have you guys read those? The Assassin series by Robin Hobb? All right. I recommend those as well. So the Magician storyline with Raymond E. Feist, I think would make a wonderful world to put video games into. And then Robin Hobb, I think, is definitely another good one as well. With you can call it the Fool series or you can call it the Assassin series. I don't know what the official terminology is here, but I think either of those would be suitable.
Okay.
I can't think of a good one.
I mean, for me, the only two like book series that I really read to like any sort of length would be the one I think I've talked about before, which is the the Sword of Truth series.
Yes.
Which I don't know how well that would translate to a game. But the other one is something I read a long time ago called The Belgariad by David Eddings.
Yep.
Again, like
good series as well.
Not sure how they would translate into like a gaming thing, like a gaming situation, but
That'd be single player RPG for sure.
Definitely.
I don't think you can do that any other way.
No, you can't do it. I mean, I would definitely like one of them would be like definitely an M-rated game, right? So the Sword of Truth series has to be M-rated.
Oh, for sure.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind like wandering and trying to find the confessors or whatever, and then having to avoid the Mord Sith, and that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I could see an Assassin's Creed like the modern style game as Sword of Truth series for sure. And then like you have your powers evolve over time. You got like the forest area, the desert area as you go through that story. Yeah, I think very translatable. I'm surprised we didn't hear from Hebrew, a multiplayer co-op RPG from Wheel of Time.
Oh, that's a really good one.
I thought for sure you were going to come out and say Wheel of Time.
Yeah, well, I just didn't think of it. I was actually going to go with, just because that one didn't pop in my head, that would definitely like be my number one. But
Shotgun Parent.
Yeah, another one would be Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I think would be an interesting series.
I think you could make a fun comedic like Monkey Island style of RPG out of that.
Yeah. It wouldn't be my first pick though, like anymore. But yeah,
it'd be pretty good. There's one that I was thinking before as well. It was in the same vein as Wheel of Time. Oh, Dark Tower. I think Dark Tower as a kind of like Secret World I've talked about a couple times. I think is an MMO that was so close to something amazing. It was definitely, I would have loved to see more of it with a better combat system. That's what let it down. But I think you could make a multiversal, because you could do so much with it with so many different realities for the Dark Tower series. And you could literally be like, because there's like time elements in there as well, you could literally have things where you interact with like things from the books. And then obviously the overarching villain might be the Man in Black, who, maybe you never face him. But you can go into other worlds, like maybe going Oz and you fight the wizard, So much you could do. I want to say in some senses like the Narnia series as well, because like that is such a rich universe. But I don't know... Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of the characters I just don't like. And some of the fantasy elements I'm not a huge fan of. But, I mean, there are certain storylines they tell, like the Silver Chair, where you go, there's a lot of cool shit you could do in the Narnian Chronicles.
I will say you are making it, you're coming dangerously close to making me read the Tower series, the Dark Tower series.
Fucking do it. It's such a... Well, look, I will say this. There are probably 2 books in there that drag a bit. Right? There's reasons for that, for what was happening at the time in his life, but yeah, it's definitely worth a read. The Dark Tower series, there's just such cool characters, man. Like I've been thinking about reading them again recently
because I can't let the memory, I guess, live off of the movie that I saw.
Yep.
How did we forget about A Song of Ice and Fire?
I don't know. I know what you're saying, but I feel like the big elements of that game, I think if you had a single-player RPG set in that universe where they have massive pivot points like BioShock 1, where there's like a betrayal that comes out of nowhere and you're like, oh, fuck you. I just don't think you could do anything beyond that. And I think, unfortunately, because of that final season, it kind of feels in many ways played out. Now, in saying that, if you told me we're going to play a game where I'm going to ride on the back of a fucking dragon,
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking something not even like that, like super high quality, but more like a territory conquest kind of game,
like an RTS,
sort of like a
or
like
a
more like a Civ or something like that, Civilization kind of game.
Do you think it's more Civ, or would it be more like the Total War series?
More like the Total War series.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I had the Starks on one team, yeah, you could probably sell me on that.
You could go even deeper than that because you think of like all the families that are in like Westeros, and then you can add all of the other areas as well. Like you're trying to unite Westeros.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I can see it. That's a fun question. I really like that one. Yeah. And also makes me think of why aren't we pitching fucking video game concepts companies? Because
For real.
some gold in there. All right. Now, I don't know who submitted this question. Some bloke off our Patreon. He asked the question, which content, if the last 2 years of it was all exposed, would be harder or funnier to explain to your family? All of your personal text messages and emails, or your internet search history? I feel like the guy that asked the question should go first.
This is the worst bit of irony because I purposely asked that question to make you guys squirm. So now that I have to answer the question, it's terrible.
I think you forget who I am because I'm quite open about like some of the shit that I look at. So it's by far my internet search history. Oh, fucking for sure. There's a lot of stuff now I would want no human being to discover.
I think for me, my internet search history is pretty tame. It would be like the text messages that I have between, or the private messages that I have between people or something. Only in the sense that, as you said, like I can be pretty open and honest in some things, and not that I have stuff that I wouldn't want people to like know about, but it's more along the lines of like, that wasn't for you.
Yeah, just invasive. It's that invasive feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know which one. I mean, like, the same thing with me. Like, both of mine are honestly like pretty tame. I don't know. Like, I mean, people know that people look at porn, so like, I wouldn't honestly be like, I don't look at anything weird, so like, I wouldn't be like upset with that.
I guarantee you, every guy that watches porn, there is something in the last 12 months that you've like seen a video and you've typed in something that when you look at that search term, you would be embarrassed. I don't think there is a single guy that watches porn that wouldn't have in their search history over, was it 2 year period, Hooch? 2 years. There's not one thing that you go, why did I fucking Google that?
There's I would say as a caveat to that, I would say that there's nothing that I've Googled that's like weird, but like whenever you're on the site and you like watch, you're like looking at the videos and like the thumbnails and the title, like there have been some where I'm like, what the fuck is this? And so I click on it to like curiosity pics, let's call them, like. But
that's exactly what we're saying. It's
right. So
this is the worst part of it, that people don't have context. Like all they can see is you Googled Instagram, and then obviously then you just saw, okay, next website was Pornhub, then they went to this genre, this video, and then Googled how to get ejaculate out of a ceiling fan. Do you know what I mean? Like, they don't know the context. They just see the fucking list of things that happened in order. So
yeah,
I think the better question would have been like not your search history, but just your history period.
My history as a human being?
No, like your internet history, right? Like if all of that, like as you said, like you go down that rabbit hole, and like Hebrew was talking about, it's like I click this and I go, what the hell is that? And
same deal.
You didn't actively search for it, but it shows up in history.
Oh, there'd be like little embarrassments as well, like the little things like, I mean, Hebrew gets it every day of like, what is this? What is this movie? What is this thing? Like things that like people assume that you would know as an adult human being, and you're like, I actually don't know. I have to Google it. I have those moments as well, right? Oh, we all do. But like when people know, wait, he didn't know that? What an idiot! Like, you know what I mean? Like, we all have those little things every day. But I will say this: that the private messages, the one part I really didn't think about, is because there's no context. Is in 2020 and cancel culture. there's definitely conversations I've had with people that if you didn't know that it was a joke, or if you didn't know there was this or that,
Or who
I don't
you
think
were
there's
as a
a human being
person.
on planet Earth. I don't think there is a human being on planet Earth that wouldn't get canceled right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With no context.
I typically try to be a little bit better. Mostly just, because of personal thing. I at one point in time was pretty much a huge a-hole, and I've decided to try to change all of that. Now if I'm a jerk to somebody, it's usually because I'm having fun and poking at them, not actually being a jerk.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I think we all do that. But I mean, everything you do online or in messages is always going to be an edited version of yourself. There's very few people that are 100% authentic all the time. We all hide certain parts of ourselves. Because, there are things that I find hilariously funny that I would never say on this podcast because I know that it will, someone will be offended by it because it's on an edge of something. And out of respect for those people, I don't do it.
But would you have been able to be very authentic, or at least a lot more authentic, 10 years ago?
I think I'm probably more authentic now than I was 10 years ago. I think I used to hide a lot of parts of that because I didn't want to be not liked, at all. I wanted everyone to like me. Whereas now it's just there are some people I'm I could give less of a fuck if people in this certain category or whatever like me, or, personality type. It's I've been much happier as a human being since I've leaned into that of being who I am and putting that out there. I'll still find myself editing parts of myself. Normally, because I'm thinking in the back of my mind, is YouTube or Twitch going to take my monetization away when I say this?
Yeah.
It's more of that. But yeah, I don't feel as restricted that way.
Okay, interesting.
Well, I mean, me at 26 was definitely a lot more concerned about what people thought of me than I was at 36. And then when now I'm at 46, I just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I am who I am. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, I don't care.
Yeah. There's nothing you do about it. You know what's quite funny about that t-shirt you're wearing, by the way? So he has a t-shirt on him. I didn't realize until he sat closer to the microphone, but Hooch is wearing a t-shirt that says team, and it has the little gap in the A and the gap in between with a message underneath that says there it is. And it was funny that I know now that so obviously there is an I in team is what the shirt's supposed to said. But I thought the first time I looked at it, I didn't see the bottom part. I just thought it was there's the a-hole.
You know what?
And I was that's a pretty self-deprecating shirt, bro.
You were not the first person to say that, and it's hilarious. I'm fine.
Never
if
seen
that's
it.
what you get out of it, that's perfect.
No, now that I've seen the shirt from a distance, but when you were right up close, I couldn't see the bottom part of the A, and I was like, what the fuck? It's a weird... Oh, it's I in team. I get it now. So funny.
Yeah. That's kind of the thing I've been known for a lot is funny t-shirts and stuff like that. So
nice, man.
I thought this one was a pretty good one to wear. I purposely wore this one.
I dig it.
So.
I like it. Part of the team. 100%. All right. We have to do a massive thank you to all of our Patreons. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Look, we know it's tough times out there. We've lost a few subscribers this month just because we understand that things are pretty tough in the US right now. Please understand, because we had a few people messages saying, I'm so sorry, I can't support the show. I've lost my job. Dudes, life first. All right. Please look after yourselves first. Of course, we want to be able to grow the show and whatnot, but for us, it's more important that you guys are safe and well right now. But to all of you that are supporting this show, thank you so much. To our supporters, to Ox5, Batbutt, to Captain, to Connor L, to Goat, LFC Avenger, Sylv J, Commander Corsi, Lunchbox, and Alan K. Thank you to all of you. To the ANR fanboys, so to Mad Dog, Dudge Wreck, Commander Hanson, Gunskull, Unhinged, Flexipotamus, Matt Bloody, Simon L, Incorrect User, Rockstar, Corey F, Dan, Bloodwalker, Snorlax, TT Marco, JJ Orbits, Curtis the Greek, Swain Hammer, Jamie, X23, Debated Viking, Darth Longstride, Metalhead, Running Gun 83, Drackle, Lili, Zateo Tech, Danel, Admirero, Frozen, to Chief, Fat Honey Badger, Pike, and to Benicus. Benicus being our latest sub. Thank you to all of you guys. To the dedicated, you legends, you are definitely helping us stay on the air right now. So to Nightside, Conway Supreme, Abyssarum, Captain Hammer, DJB, Morphine Dream, Cheetah, Hobbs, Tuggernuts, still the greatest, Andrew G, Domino, Real East, Done and Done, Paul Park, Beer God, Legriv, Crovino, Mookie, Grimnos, Scooter, Yule, Justin Beard, Lemon Russ, and McFly. And then, of course, the big boys. And this time we actually get to do a very personal thank you because one of them is right here to the Multiverse Masters. So to Agent Zero, Honeycomb, Silver Wolf, Bronzy, Jedi Matroza, Slim, JW, Jay Shriver, Neil Wybird Wiley, Jackie246, the Quixotic One, Lord Keen, to Moon, Judas, Forpsy Schmolpsy, Spark Zulu, Dragus, Della, and Kane. And of course, a big thank you not only for supporting the show for as long as you have, but also for being a guest on this very podcast this week. And thank you to the Grumpy Gamer Dad himself, Da Hooch.
The Grumpy Gamer Dad.
Hey, that's his description.
So much fun.
By the way, that's his description. Not mine.
Yeah. I know. I loved it. Yeah. That's a great.
Yeah. What I was going to say is that there's the a-hole was what I was going to put on his. No, I'm joking.
That works too.
Yeah, that's going to be there is an I in the team. It's going to be a new one next week. But honestly, thanks, man. We really appreciate it. And you've always been fun to talk to. Like, obviously, we chat a fair bit off air these days. You're almost like the unofficial member of the team anyway over the last couple of months because we've been chatting and gaming together so much. So, yeah, massive thank you for filling in for Piker.
Mm-hmm.
Not a problem. As I said before, I'm always willing to tap into a three-way after Piker pops out.
Hey, well, you're tagging him pretty quickly because let's face it, stamina is not that kid's game.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's funny because he's not here. All right, so ladies and gents, that is going to wrap up what is by far the longest fucking episode of this podcast. Honestly, I'm going to start filtering out some of these news stories because there is so much coming in hard and fast and so much that's fun to talk about. And look, let us know what you guys think of the length that we have. Some people that go, I love it. The longer, the better, because if it's a 5-hour podcast, that means I've got one commute every day covered. Boom, done. Other people are like, dude, you guys talk so much shit. And that's accurate too. So let us know what you guys think. Make sure you head onto the Discord to give us exactly that feedback, discord.me/ANR. Make sure you head on over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. 5 stars does help us. And if you leave a comment on the 5 stars, we'll read it out live on air next week. Patreon.com/ANR pod if you want to help us stay on the air. I just had to renew the website. That shit is expensive. I need to use that more. We're going to try and do as much fun as we can. Next week for the Patreon, we're going to be introducing the live option. So all of our fans from the Multiverse Masters tier are going to be able to listen to us live and actually interact during it. So we might say, oh, hey, Hooch has just asked the question, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to try and be more interactive with our high-end supporters as well. And also the Patreon streams are starting up from next week as well. So the top 2 tiers there, so the dedicated and the multiverse guys are going to be able to dictate what they actually want me to stream, which will be just for those guys as well. And for the ones that can't watch it live, I will be posting that up on the Patreon website as well, because we want that to be a fun place for you guys to go to. Other than that, massive thank you to Hebrew Hammer.
Yeah, thank you.
And also to Da Hooch.
Oh, man, anytime. And if you don't like me on this, don't take it out on these guys.
I don't think anyone's going to say that.
Yeah.
So,
I think you're
the
safe.
fact that we've got a guest that's actually played some games this week, I think people are going to be excited by that. As to me going, you guys play this? It's like, nope. Okay, moving on then. So no, honestly, it's been fun, man. And obviously, you've fulfilled the dad role as well. We just sub one dad for another dad. So honestly, man, it's been great. We really appreciate having you.
Cool. As I said, it's been an absolute blast. I've loved every minute of this. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
no
Well, I hope you did, because what are we now? On the Patreon version, we're already at 4 fucking hours 45. So good
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
I'm glad your audio crashed halfway through. Not the people at home will know. Because otherwise I'd be 4 hours 45 sitting on a piss that I
it's
needed.
it's 4:15 in the morning for me now, just to give you guys some context.
Holy crap.
All right, let's shut this shit down. So look, thanks to all of you for listening, and until next week, cheers.